Right, on to the street talk for this week. I realised I didn't even say at the beginning of the podcast earlier which episodes we were doing, what the dates were. So this is...
Didn't you?
No, I didn't. This is 13th to the 17th of July this week. I believe we are currently on episodes 11,898 to 11,902 of Coronation Street. So, hey, let's get going with this. Our lovely clickbait contributor, Jonathan, hasn't been able to send us anything this week, but I did do a little bit of clickbait research myself, Gemma. I don't know whether you want to have a go at these, but they're both from the Liverpool Echo. The first one says, Coronation Street legends return, sealed to save Sarah from prison.
Audrey.
No, Audrey, no. The other one.
Gail.
Yeah. Apparently, if Sarah's going to go down for murdering Theo Silverton, and, by the end of tonight's episode, Lisa is told that they've got the go-ahead to do an arrest, haven't they? But yeah, Gail's going to come in and say, I save you, Sarah. She would never do this. I'm a mam. I know her. So apparently that's going to happen according to a Coronation Street Facebook fan page. And they're always right with their theories.
Far be it from me to start the shaming early. But I wouldn't trust Gail, a woman who's been married more times than anyone else in soap, to be a good enough judge of character to know whether her own daughter was a murderer or not.
I mean, she got herself out of prison, didn't she, old Gail? Although in that case, she didn't actually do anything, and Sarah kind of did.
I didn't actually do anything.
That's her quote. Yeah. Actually, I think you'll find I didn't do anything.
Do anything.
No. So yeah, apparently Gail's going to come back. I don't think Gail is going to come back for this story. I think that should Sarah end up on the wrong side of the Norcross prison bars, Gail might be too upset to come and visit. I'm gonna say. Or she likes a video call, doesn't she, Gail?
She does at the moment.
She's probably just enjoying the south of France far too much. Or maybe she has actually melted into a puddle, because if it's this hot here, who knows what it's like.
Well, it's burning. It's France is worse.
Oh dear. Okay. Or maybe she can't get out then because there's...
You know what they say?
There's what?
France is bacon.
Francis Bacon.
In this heat.
I love that. That's a great pun. That's probably better than any of my storyline titles for this week.
Well, I don't know what have you done? Oh my god, you've got one for the Betsy story, haven't you?
I've got a few options. None of them are that great, to be honest, but I couldn't nod.
Oh,
second one then, Gemma, and you'll know what this one is, but I think it's a nice thing to talk about at the beginning. Liverpool Echo again. Coronation Street forced to make big last-minute change to episode, as fans say, same thing. What is a last minute change that's made?
It's changing when it's on.
No. What was a last minute change?
Oh, the football.
The football.
What are all the fans saying?
Well, what do you think?
It's coming home.
No. Well,
it's not coming home.
No. What were they saying about the fact that they had Tyrone and
When
Coates?
did they film it?
When did they film that is exactly what all the fans are saying. And there's not been any kind of official consensus or official statement released about it as far as I know. But, we were around Coronation Street, the vicinity of at the weekend. It was not filmed at the weekend. So one can only surmise that it was filmed last week.
It was filmed last week and they did multiple versions.
Yes, we can exclusively reveal. Yes. What did you think of that? Was it Monday's episode? No, was it on? No,
it was
Tuesday.
Surely it was after the match.
Yeah, I can't remember what day the match is on.
Norway.
When was that?
Monday.
Monday.
No, it was. When did we? It was at the weekend, wasn't it?
It was at the weekend, so this must have been Monday's episode that started this, with Tyrone coming out of his house doing a bit of "It's coming home," and that was a little bit previous Tyrone, but
no, he did it 3 lines on the shirt.
Yeah, that is coming. That is 3 lines.
And then they use the same song in EastEnders. Why can't we have Vindaloo?
I think that Vindaloo has just kind of been forgotten as a football anthem.
There's loads of them. The thing that I think that people that are not from this country don't get, and it's annoying that even Scotland, Ireland and Wales don't get this, is that it's sarcastic. That song is like partly sarcastic. Like, we don't really think. We dare to hope. And then when we do hope, our dreams get shattered. Yeah,
I was in the room when the football was on the other day, when it was the England and Argentina match. You were watching it. I was busy editing together our Weatherfield Walk for Webster video. And yeah, so close, Gemma, so close.
Wow.
I can tell you with with great knowledge and what's the word?
I don't know.
I've been learning about the football this week. Apparently, apparently it was because our manager, don't ask me to tell you what his name is, put too many people in defence for the end of the match. That's what people say.
After the goal.
Yeah.
That we scored.
Didn't get enough people shooting in the goal at their end.
I'm not too much of a kidder to say I care anymore. I'm not going to pretend I care anymore. I'm over it.
We still get to find out we're in third place.
No, I don't care about it. I'm not
going to watch
Mum
that.
was saying, "Are you going to watch the final?" No, don't care. I'm not interested. I don't care whether that makes me a glory hunter or I've got other things to do.
What did you think of Coronation Street filming something special for the beginning? Because it struck me as being an EastEnders sort of thing to do.
I know there are very mixed opinions.
What's yours?
I don't care.
I think I kind of liked it, but I think the problem with any soap doing that is it takes you out of it, doesn't it? It's a little bit fourth wall breaky because people watching will just say, "Oh, when did they film that?" And as soon as people say, "When did they film that? How did they film that?" then you're not thinking of it as we are spying in on the lives of these Weatherfield residents. We are thinking this is a TV show that has to be produced. And obviously we know that it's not real, but yeah, I think putting things in like that can sometimes distract you from the idea that you're buying into this universe that really exists because you're thinking about the production of it, which is another reason why little dream sequences and purple tinted dance routines also do the same thing. What do you think?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Well, you can say it again if you like.
It doesn't matter anymore because it's obviously a television show. Like they're you know what I mean?
I don't know whether
They used to have some kind of semblance of you're watching things and you're you're like a ghost. You're watching everything happen, and you get to see everything that happens, and it's all real, even though it's clearly artificial.
Mm.
But now it's like they're doing something every week that makes you go, "Oh, how do they do that? Oh, look what they're doing. Oh, that's different, isn't it?"
Yeah, and I mean, some of it is our own fault, and I think maybe if we'd never been to the set, if we'd never seen any filming ourselves, if we'd never engaged with any actors, then we may be easier for us to buy into the world of it. We'd be like, but we've seen behind the curtain too many times, so it's very easy to go and be thinking about those things. But I know I applaud them for having a go at it actually, because
I'm glad they did it.
Because EastEnders seem to do it, I wouldn't say all the time, but it's not uncommon for EastEnders to film something on like the morning of broadcast, is it? So I don't know whether it makes me wonder whether anything was filmed for when's the final Sunday? For Monday's episode, whether they'll commiserate not winning the World Cup. But I was kind of expecting them to have had something prepared for
this is what the
Thursday's episode. Like they were well into it on Monday, but by the time England were actually kicked out, nobody cares, and of course everybody's still got their banners up in their houses.
This is the problem with the president, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other thing also is
like COVID.
They would have had to redress the street.
What do you mean?
To film, I literally don't remember. I only watched it once, but I don't think the street is dressed with the England flags.
Oh, what, in the Tyrone and Kirk scene?
No, now.
Oh no, it won't be.
So they would have had to redress it because they were outside.
Yeah, probably.
See, this is why they don't bother doing it.
I know. Well, they also there's one of the houses on Coronation Street has had a bit of a paint job in recent weeks, hasn't it? So they had to make sure that didn't appear on screen for this because obviously it's not been done then. But yeah, I didn't mind it, but I don't know whether I'd want Corrie to. I think I used.
Is this the biggest talking point of the week? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, just
that's the main topic of conversation this week. I think I used to be quite jealous of EastEnders fans when EastEnders did it because I was like, oh yeah, they're trying to make it up to date. Yeah, exactly. And Coronation Street, just like us, they talk about the things that we're talking about. But yeah, now it's happened once. I'm glad they gave it a go, but I'm not necessarily going to be gagging for them to do it again because if you do it once every 6 months or 12 months, then it's like, well, why wouldn't they do it all the time? Why are Coronation Street only once a year talking about things that are topical?
It's much better to be kind of neutral and find a way of talking about something after you've had to think about it instead of jumping in.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you could jump in with something that maybe not worth mentioning or is not fully what you expected it to be, you know?
Yeah. Well, if they have filmed something for Monday, they're probably kicking themselves that they're now not saying, "Oh, why didn't we also mention that we've got Andy Burnham as our Prime Minister for today?"
So many things are going on, and if you're not in the UK, he was the mayor of Greater Manchester. Now he is the Prime Minister.
Well, he will be, won't he?
And nobody really knows why or how.
What do you mean?
Like,
did he just stealth
everyone
it
just
in?
decided that Keir Starmer couldn't possibly be the Prime Minister anymore, and then nobody else wanted to do it but him. It was very bizarre.
So we're going to have a proper Northern Prime Minister, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
He's going to probably be doing everything for the working class.
He's already said that he's going to move parts of Number 10 up to...
Oh yeah, he is. He's going to have a Number 10 in the north. I saw this.
Civil servants obviously thrilled.
Yeah.
To be relocated.
I think sweeping new laws like pies for every meal and...
Look, shut up.
No gravy is allowed further south than Birmingham.
That's what they already think happens. I'm just going to say one thing. This is the continuation of the London and the South of the same thing. Taking people away from London and putting them in the north doesn't help people in the south who get ignored because we're not London.
I know.
Cornwall is one of the poorest regions of the entire Europe.
We did have our very own Prime Minister just a few years ago, didn't we, from Southampton?
And what did he do?
Lovely Richie.
Richie?
What was his name again?
Rishi,
sorry.
Richie.
I knew that didn't sound right when it came out of my mouth.
Richie Sandwich.
He was a proper Southampton lad, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
I don't know why I'm saying it like this.
Me and him I was more privileged than him because I had Sky when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And now he's a billionaire.
He was a real man of the people,
my parents
wasn't he?
never instilled that hunger in me that he had.
Anyway.
I was just watching Star Trek and doing nothing with my life, and he's a billionaire.
Anyway, I did enjoy the Kirk and Tyrone scene. It was filmed last week. Maybe they'll do it again. Whose idea was it? Was it the writer's idea? Was it Kate Oates' idea? Who knows?
Kate Oates had nothing to do with it anymore.
Oh, Brooks.
Maybe she phoned her up and go, look, Kate, it's got a special Kate phone line. Hey, Kate, how you doing?
I've been working.
Listen.
Yeah, the Kate line.
Yeah, I was just phoning in. She's like, where have you been? I needed you. She's like, look, I'm busy.
I'm busy working on the BBC.
I'm just phoning you up to tell you that you should put in something about football.
I'm busy working at the BBC, says Kate Oates. And one thing I've learnt here is that sometimes in soaps you've got to say what's going on in the real life. So there's a little tip for you, Brooksy.
And then she's like, before you go, can I ask... Oh, she's fine.
How did you do Phelan? I'm putting loads of baddies in, but none of them are as good as Phelan.
Why are people so horrible to me? And Kate's like, look, that's how it is. They were horrible to me as well.
Although, I do wonder, I'm not gunning for or wanting to exploit or anything, Kate Brooks's departure from the show. Oh. But Kate Oates still was only producer. It was less than 2 years, I'm sure it was in the end, wasn't it? And before then, most producers were only around for a year or two. And it's only since the McLeod...
A year or two?
Yeah, and since then, so since the McLeod era, when he was pulling the strings for 6 years or so, it feels like it's not going to be quite as regular a thing now. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I hope that Kate Brooks doesn't leave soon, because it's just gonna...
What are we talking about?
It's just gonna start another leadership contest, just like the Labour Party are having.
And then someone
maybe Andy Burnham's gonna be the new producer.
I'll do that as well. I'll do anything.
He could. He's like, I'll sort out Corrie. I grew up watching Ina Sharples, and I know what makes good Coronation Street. And it's not about sexy kinks and strangling. It's about what everyone does down to shop, and it's about fish and chips, and it's about... What else do northern people like?
Mines.
Pigeons and mines. Yeah. He's going to sort us all out.
And mills.
And mills.
Dark, satanic mills.
Yeah. We visited a mill the other day, didn't we?
We did, but it wasn't dark and satanic.
No, it was
satanic.
It's lovely, warm and sunny.
Ice cream parlour.
See, that's Andy Burnham's influence there, isn't it?
Well,
ice creams at
every
every
seen
meal.
it before I got here.
Right.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
We're putting it off.
We're putting off talking about the big talking point this week. Okay, so we have got five storylines to discuss this week. One of them will probably take a little bit longer than the others. We're going to be starting off with, is this acceptable? Beyond a choke. Yeah, beyond a choke.
I don't look. What are we going to do here? Disclaimer alert.
Yeah, go for it. If you want to say a disclaimer.
Well, look.
As our legal representative on this podcast.
What should we say? Look, if you're new here, this is not where to start, right? This isn't the place for you. We've been doing this for a long time. We make light of things. This is serious. We talk about serious things in a light-hearted way.
Yes, that's what we do.
This is why we always have, no matter what happens, really terrible things happen, and Michael still makes a pun out of it because that's his
what we
compulsion.
do. We have Beyond a Joke.
That's
It's good because,
interest.
you know, it's like Beyond a Joke. And some might say that this story is beyond a joke. And also, there was a choke, but this has gone much beyond a choke. Not that, you know, choking on its own is supposed to be okay. Next. I was also thinking of, I think I said to you this one earlier this week, another option for storyline title was a replacement to The Great Fagging and Shagging, which we obviously Abby and Peter were getting up to on the boat, because this week we had Choking and Stroking, didn't we?
Oh no.
This is what Corrie is up to in 2026. Okay, Sarah Lou Dunnett storyline is next. We've had that one before, that's safe. And then we had a little bit more of a Diana Ross. Do you remember that one from last week? Diana Ross. Although weirdly, Tracy has decided that he's a big hunk this week. Do you think that Tracy actually fancies Ross whatsoever, or is she literally just doing it because she wants something that Cassie once had?
I don't.
I don't see Ross as being anything at all that Tracy would be really interested. He's got a fine head of hair on him, but he doesn't seem Tracy's type.
I'm not the one to come to about what is attractive.
No, but I'm just saying, I'm not saying whether you fancy Ross. I certainly hope that you're not going to be jumping Ross's bones anytime soon.
All I keep thinking of, every time Claire Sweeney in her beautiful Liverpudlian accent says Ross, I just go to Red Dwarf and our Robber Ross.
Yeah, I know, so do I.
And every time she says it,
Ross.
I just in my head go, oh, Robber Ross. And I cannot help myself.
God, 2 Red Dwarf references on the podcast already so far.
And then it just derails me.
I do love Cassie's accent. Right, okay. What's this? Oh yeah, this storyline.
You don't even know what this means.
No, I do. So this storyline title for the Joseph story is called Fees and Trilone.
It sounds like Fizz and Tyrone.
It sounds like Fizz and Tyrone.
The
storyline's not about Fizz and Tyrone, but Fees and Trilone is a pun.
It is a pun, isn't it?
If you're new here, we also make terrible puns and wordplay, and this is an example of it.
There's a point at which you can't even call it a pun.
No, it's just a desperate attempt at stringing possibly similarly sounding words together.
Word vomit.
Yeah, but so we've got that, and thank you very much, Coronation Street, for confirming our question last week about whether or not Joseph goes to Oak Hill or not. He does. He still does.
It's almost like
for now. Somebody
listened to our podcast about that. What was it? Number 5.
Yeah.
And went, right, we're gonna have to address some of these points.
Maybe they did. Maybe this whole story was filmed last week because they're into the last minute filming.
And then when they did, they were like, we've got to put something in. We've listened to Conversation Street and we've got to do something. While we're here, we'll just do a football thing as well.
It's because they heard my anguish mid-episode where I was like, is he still at Oak Hill? Are we having a really long conversation about him going to private school when actually he's at Weatherly High anymore? Gosh, I wish somebody would tell me. And yeah, they did. So thanks, Coronation Street.
Another relatable storyline.
Yeah, absolutely. And then our final storyline pun of the week, and actually this is the very, very best one, but it wasn't me that came up with it. Thank you so much to listener Ben, who wrote in this week to tell me a fantastic storyline title for Christina's shopping addiction. He said that we should call this storyline Chris Mass Shopping, which I think is probably one of the best puns we've had on the podcast for a very long time. So I applaud you for that. If you get any more coming, if you've got a better one for the Joseph storyline, Ben, please write it and let me know, because...
Is this Ben from The Walk?
No, it's a different Ben. It's a different Ben.
We've got so many lovely Bens.
We have got lots of Bens, almost as many Bens as we've got Rebecca's. I think that's our most common listener name as far as I know. But yes, cheers very much, Ben, for that. I think it's amazing. Right, so we've put it off long enough. We have got the Beyond a Choke storyline that was all kind of kicking off on Monday, but Wednesday's episode, because it wasn't on Tuesday, was where where it really started. Oh, this is something kind of big, serious and big. I don't know whether we want to say anything before we start synopsising. Gemma, I can start, you can start. What do you want to do?
What?
I've got tons I can say, but I don't know whether you want to say anything.
I'm gonna have to plug my phone in.
You got to plug your phone in. Why is that?
Well, because I've had to write some stuff down.
Have you written some notes for yourself?
Yeah, because I'm so angry.
Well, I'm glad that our little light-hearted banter over the past 20 minutes have seemed to have cheered you up somewhat. So now...
Well, anyone who's joining us for the YouTube won't know what I said before I started, and this is my justification.
Yeah.
this is how I'm going to get out of... This is my manslaughter appeal, where I'm not in charge of my emotions, so it's not murder. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're in a bad mood.
Because this is a crime of passion I'm about to commit here.
Okay.
I've had a really bad week and I'm not in a good mood.
What
and
do
I'm
you
trying
think
really
about this
hard.
story?
Okay, right. First of all...
I'm just going to sit back and enjoy my tea.
Right, first of all, I am really angry that this is a storyline on Coronation Street. And I am totally aware of the importance of it, okay? And the only reason I'm mad about it is because we do this podcast. So I completely understand my bias, and I'm putting wearing my heart on my sleeve, and I'm telling everybody where I'm coming from, and I hope that honesty will filter in to whatever you think about what I say.
So you were saying if we weren't doing this podcast, you would not be.
I find it
angry.
a lot more interesting than I do.
Okay.
Because I don't choose to talk about things like this. This is not something that I talk about or I'm comfortable talking about. And I feel as though there's a big expectation on everybody, not just me, to support everything in the pursuit of raising awareness, right? And if I say I don't want to do this, I don't want to talk about this makes me uncomfortable and this crosses a boundary, then people say, well, you have to talk about it. It's really important because look at all these things, look at all these statistics, look at all these people that are being harmed because of it. I totally get that, which is why we're going to talk about it. But I just want to make it clear that not everybody wants to talk about these things and that this is not necessarily something that needs to be in Coronation Street. And you can tell me, oh, it's raised awareness amongst women and all these people I know didn't know anything about it, and I spoke to somebody about it and I spoke to somebody else about it. That's fantastic. That's really good. That is really good. I'm glad. But it's quite also frustrating that lots of people don't seem to have any real outlet for educating themselves on some of these topics. I don't think it should be the job of soaps to teach you about things like this. I think that there should be... I think that women are so... always under the guise of being nice and going along with things and not wanting to rock the boat or tell somebody that what they want to do is wrong or dangerous or unusual. We get forced into not educating ourselves or learning about stuff. Loads of stuff is hidden from women. This is just another example. Like pregnancies and birth. I remember thinking the worst thing that could happen to you, and this was a shock to me, when I read a book about somebody giving birth, was that you could do a poo. I thought that was the worst thing that could happen, and I didn't even know that was possible. Since then I've learned, oh no, you can get paralysed, you could be incontinent for the rest of your life. Like, so many horrible things happen to women, and we don't talk about it, and it's really frustrating to me, and there's no solution. There's no solution to this, it doesn't seem like. It's so frustrating to me that it's like part of a soap that's supposed to be a family thing. So we've had to close the windows. It's 27 degrees in here. I cannot talk about this with the windows open. This is not something I want to talk about.
So you're not saying that you think that Coronation Street should be doing stories about people doing a poo when they have a baby. You just...
What do you think I'm saying?
No, like... You're not comfortable talking about this. You're saying that Coronation Street, because I've had lots of changing sort of opinions on this over the week, and when I first heard and read, because that's something I'm really quite mad about this week. Once again, it's a spoiler, but this is your platform at the moment. No, I'm very good at ranting about that particular topic.
We've had that discussion so many times.
I know, but it's still not changed. When I first read it, that this was what the story was going to be about, as a uneducated about this kind of thing person in his approaching mid-40s, I was like, oh, really? Oh, Corey, oh no, really? Not necessarily that, we have to talk about this on the podcast, but partly, although I'm not, I don't think I'm as uncomfortable about that as you. Hey, I had to teach sex education this week. I had to do a lesson about where babies come from in year 6. But yeah, it was more just like, is there no line? Is there no taboo that Corrie won't cross in the name of raising awareness. And I was like, oh, they're like, how deep and dark and depraved can Coronation Street get? But that was before I watched the episode and before I read any stats about it. And actually, I've had a bit of a change of mind about it, and forgetting my own personal comfort levels about discussing this on the podcast, I'm erring more on the side of, well, somebody needs to tell people that this is dangerous, because some people aren't realising that it's dangerous.
It makes me frustrated that this is something that people don't realise. I understand that it's being normalised, but can I just point out that there's a difference between normal and common. Common it may be. Normal, I'm sorry, but we can't normalise this. This is actually really... the thing is, it's so ingrained in us. Oh, don't kink shame. Don't make people feel bad or embarrassed. But why not in this case? This is terrible. This is violence against... It's mostly women that suffer at the hands of this.
Yeah, because you told me that today, because I was saying, well... Because you're very anti Dylan in this storyline, and I'm not surprised.
We're not getting into that yet.
No, I know. But I was saying, well, it could it have happened the other way around? I wonder if she gives him, if it's, he does it to her, she does it to him, and then you were like, no, it is mostly from your research. Is that, I don't know, that it's men that do it to women.
I wouldn't say it's overwhelmingly so, but I will point out
it's
that
definitely not exclusively so.
Men are stronger than women. Women are more delicate than men. Women are more likely to be harmed, and the harm that's been recorded has been women. And it's really frustrating to me, because I thought that this was kind of obvious, not just because of the fact that you shouldn't be putting your hands around someone's neck anyway, but because this is what women... We've got to stop listening to people that tell us that feminism is wrong. I'm sorry that I'm a militant feminist, but I really feel vindicated, because I knew about this stuff because of the laws that went in, with women discussing about the law that came in. And did you also know, and I bet lots of people don't know this, that it's actually illegal, and I think that this is where Dylan's got it from, strangulation in pornography is illegal here.
Yeah. Because I think people could see the way the tide was turning, weren't they? Yeah, the law says...
Lots of people don't realise that it's illegal for that. It's illegal.
It's legal to show it. And also, consensual strangulation is a criminal offence in the UK if it returns an actual bodily harm or grievous bodily harm. So if people are doing it and it doesn't result in any damage like that, then it's not illegal.
No, can I just point something else out here? I am fed up with hearing people calling it consensual strangulation, because so many studies have shown that it's almost impossible to... It's impossible to do it safely. It's impossible to do it safely, and you're gonna have some kind of harm that has been fallen upon you, maybe without you even realising it. They've done scans, women who have had it happen to them. There's no research on men. Take that as to what you will about that. Whether it's not prevalent enough to bother, or whether they should do some research to find out what actually is the difference in men and women. But I feel quite comfortable in saying that women are more harmed by this behaviour than men. And if it really was as sexy and wonderful as everyone is saying it is, then it would be equal. It's not. But they've shown that there are markers in your blood that show brain damage, and every woman who said that she had this done to her had that.
I think
it's not possible to do it without harming yourself.
I think the way I'm kind of thinking at the moment is, I mean, I don't want to tell people how they should and shouldn't behave. Although, I mean,
I'm perfectly happy to tell you. No, I'm sorry. I'm perfectly happy to tell you that you shouldn't do this. There's still people going, oh, we should see how to do it safely. People should get educated. Yeah, There's no safe way of doing it.
I agree with that. I think I'm kind of saying, if people want, like, you go and walk in front of a bus if you want to, but to say, I didn't realise that walking in front of a bus could be dangerous. I don't understand that.
People have been children watching pornography on the internet have been groomed by violence against women that's normalised in porn to think that this is something that you should do.
I was just utterly...
Because you can see it by the statistics of the age groups of people that do this. They said it's over 50% in people aged something to
18
35.
to 34 or something, wasn't it? So
right.
we are
but
out
that
of
is
this
not
bracket.
evenly distributed amongst that group. That's an unhelpful statistic.
It's quite it's quite broad, isn't it?
Because actually it's generational rather than age related, and the young children who are Betsy and Dylan's age, far more prevalent because, like I said, they've been groomed by pornography on the internet. I don't mind being the bad guy here. I'm sorry, I get my shame bell out. I'm the shame nun. And I'm going to say also that people say don't kink shame, but there's a massive difference between making somebody feel uncomfortable if they like wearing sexy high heels in the bedroom and telling somebody not to choke their partner during sex. It's not kink shaming to say that's dangerous. We need to stop applying broad, don't broadly accept every single thing that happens in the bedroom during sex as a positive, wonderful thing, because it's not. Women are having strokes. Women are there are so many other things that can happen to you, not just a stroke. You could lose control of your bowels. You could lose control of your bladder. You could be choked unconscious. You can end up with lingering memory problems and mental impairment that lasts for years. You can have depression, anxiety. You can end up with PTSD. Some people can't speak. Some people get sore throats. Their eyes get red dots in them. They get blurry vision.
I knew that there was a rising tide in porn of that sort of thing being depicted. I'd seen news articles from 2 years ago when that was roughly then when the laws came in that banned it. I
don't remember the date.
And I was like, oh, okay, that seems a bit odd, but fine. If that's something that's appearing, I agree that probably shouldn't be easily accessible to especially young people who, despite whatever these new laws that have come in that try to restrict you looking at that kind of thing without a VPN or whatever, but everyone knows how to get around it. Kids know how to get around it.
There's no denying there's a link. There's no denying there's a link because this didn't happen before it was in porn.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got over 7 billion people on this planet, and most of them weren't conceived in the bedroom because somebody was choking the other one. Human beings have had enjoyable sex for hundreds of thousands of years without this being...
So some stats really surprised me this week, and I was looking at some that you sent me today, and I don't want to say, I don't want to tell people what I think that they should and shouldn't like and what's weird for them to like and what not to like, but the people who had claimed to have being strangled in the bedroom, the most common response to did you enjoy it or not, 1 to 5 out of 5 was 5. I really liked it. So that surprised. I personally, just even reading and hearing about this week is really kind of making my toes curl a little bit. I feel like it's...
some people enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's no safe way of doing it, and it can cause you long-term damage. And if me saying that this is wrong helps one woman have the strength to say no, or tell her friends to say no, and pass up on this, or one man to go, I'm not going to do this to you because I don't want to go to jail for 5 years and have everyone call me a pervert. If that helps somebody, I'm quite happy to be the bad guy here and say, I don't think that this is behaviour. Like, it's not kink shaming to say that you shouldn't choke somebody.
And lots of people who have experienced it in the bedroom have said that it was consensual. Some have not said it was, which is also worrying. I've seen people this week saying, oh, yeah, I was with a partner, in fact 2 partners did it to me without even asking, and I didn't know what was going on.
Again, be clear that this is mostly women who are having this done to them by men. And lots of men will say that women want it to be done to them, but there's plenty of people who haven't consented to this that are having it done to them, and without a way of asking it to stop because you can't speak.
Yeah, but equally, lots of people who are having it done to them are enjoying it, and
No, well, let's not.
They're saying that they are enjoying it.
No, I don't feel like it's helpful to talk about whether it's enjoyable or not enjoyable. Heroin's enjoyable.
Well, yeah, exactly. The end of the day is it's dangerous,
Meth
and
is
to
enjoyable.
me, it's like clearly, obviously, massively risky, and I don't understand.
There's no safe way of doing it.
I'm not saying I don't believe people. I'm saying I don't understand how people could say, "Oh, I didn't realise that it could be dangerous."
Well, they
I
don't.
could see how people could say, "I didn't realise it could lead me to having a stroke," because hey, I might not have known that as well. I've been educated a lot about what some of it was. I would just said, "Well, it's obviously risky because you could get choked. You could stop breathing."
You just say it's obviously risky because choking is not something that you.
Yeah.
It's
but
like,
anyway,
you wouldn't...
those stats. The other stat that shocked me was just how prevalent it was. I was going back to what I was saying earlier, that like I heard it was a thing, and a few years ago, and they brought in the laws against it, and the way it was shown online. But I didn't realise. I was floored by that 55%, is it, figure, which was the 18 to 34-year-olds. 55% of people said that they had engaged in it, which, you know, I'm sure a lot of our listeners are going to be in that as well. So which is why it's difficult talking about it. But
it's weighted more towards younger people.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe our podcast isn't, but that really stunned me. I would never, if somebody was to say to me, "Oh, you heard about this law, and you know people are starting to copy this." How many people? What percentage of people would you say have had a go at this in the bedroom? I would have said, I don't know, 10, 15%, maybe less. So 55% utterly shocked me, which is why I've kind of come round more to the idea that maybe Corrie isn't wrong for tackling it, and maybe, you know, is Corrie the programme to talk about it, or should it be on a different programme? Is it more of a Hollyoaks thing? Should it be its own little drama? I don't know. I mean, Corrie gets... It's going to reach more people being on Corrie than it would be if it was on a 9 p.m. gritty ITV crime drama.
I'm not sure that's true.
Of the intended audience, possibly. But anyway, I was stunned because I don't want to talk about at all who I'm talking about here, but I spoke to somebody else this week, IRL, as the kids say. I'm learning all about kid stuff this week. And I said, "What do you think? How many people do you think have said they've experienced it?" And they said, 60%. And I was like, what on earth? This is something that I thought everybody would guess, like a tiny number. And this person that I was talking to was within that 18 to 34 age bracket. So it's just a whole new world has opened itself up to me that I didn't even know was a thing this week. And I've just been left utterly stunned. And maybe that makes me sound like an old man. But yeah, I'm very shocked by it. And I think I am now more on the side of, you know, if people need to be told it's dangerous, then go for it, Corrie. You tell people it's dangerous.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, yeah, I'm just, you know, you said you spoke to somebody about it.
Mm-hmm.
I would find that conversation very uncomfortable. If you came up to me and you started talking to me about that, if I'm your friend, you're a man, I'm a woman, we're not going out with each other. You came up to me and you started going, "Hey, Coronation Street," I would find that really offensive and boundary crossing, because I don't want to talk about this with anybody.
Oh, I know, but it just kind of...
I'm not. Look. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just telling everybody we've all got different boundaries.
Yeah.
And I really feel that this is violating my boundary, which I think I should be entitled to have. To say, I don't want to talk about this. I find this uncomfortable. I don't feel as though I should have to feel guilty for saying that. And I think it's totally okay for anybody else who's feeling the same way as me to go, "I don't want to talk. I think this is really uncomfortable." And it's okay. It's okay. And you're not gonna... I get the argument that we need to stop making things taboo, and that people are more likely to be educated if they talk about it. But I don't think I need to be forced by Coronation Street to talk about this.
Corey-
When we started doing this podcast, would you ever imagine
No.
that in 14 years' time we'd be talking about this?
No, we didn't sign
It's a
up for
joke
Coronation
now.
Street podcast
It's
to
a
talk
joke,
about things like
because
this.
we do this all the time. We say this all the time about stuff on the show. It becomes a joke. Did you think that when we started this podcast, we'd end up talking about this? Where's the next? Where are we going next?
And there's things.
Are we going to have Two Girls, One Cup recreated by Coronation Street characters?
We've all got.
Hope not.
We've all got our kind of boundaries about what we think is easy or comfortable, or what's pushing it too far. And some people will say, well, there's murders on Coronation Street all the time and serial killers, and that fine talking about that, but that almost feels like, yes, that happens in real life, but it's in some ways, it's kind of panto. And right from when we're young, we see cartoons and whatever about people killing people and bad guys in films.
I'll tell you what the difference is. It doesn't involve me as a person to talk about a murder, because nobody I know has been murdered. I'm not murdering anybody. Nobody's murdering me at the moment, right? Everybody has sex. When you start talking about things like this, people start thinking about you and what you get up to. There are people sitting and listening going, oh, she's very vanilla. Oh, I bet, I don't want people thinking or speculating about me, about what I think about stuff. I don't want to proffer an opinion on something. I find it
something that's
really
kind
uncomfortable.
of private.
It is private.
Yeah.
And this was why it was kind of very shocking to see Lisa tell everybody in the cafe why Betsy was in hospital. I don't think she really meant to. I don't think she really meant to do that.
Yeah, I know. I wonder what Betsy would say about her mum being very outspoken about her sex life while she's not even there to be able to jump in and say, hold your horses, mum.
Yeah, I mean, let's go back to just talking about consent and things. And I watched the dance sequence again, and I'm gonna. We'll probably get to the dance sequence.
Yeah, I've watched it again as well.
She takes his hands and puts them around her neck, and I think that was very deliberate.
Oh, definitely.
To share the responsibility.
Yeah, that is the consent.
They keep both of them saying, "I consented, she consented, I consented, she consented." The thing is, I personally, and this is where my radical feminism probably comes in, or whatever it is called, militant feminism. I don't think consent exists in a vacuum. Consent can be coerced by influences, by pornography, by peer pressure, by other people. I think it's very possible that Dylan started the behaviour and she thought he wanted to do it to her, so she put his hands around her neck. You can argue that if you want to.
Well, I think that this story is obviously going to be running for a while. I just don't know. And I imagine that those kind of things will come up, because at the moment Betsy's saying, Dylan, don't report Dylan to the police. It's not his fault. I don't blame him. I wanted it. And I think that, that's definitely going to be a conversation happens.
It's not to infantilise women or anyone who engages in this, but I really do think that it's very notable that this behaviour was not prevalent until pornography became widespread and violence against women became normalised. And I don't think that you can say with a straight face that if Betsy was born 50 years ago, she and Dylan would have had that experience in the bedroom.
Yeah, totally.
And it's not like it's... Well, anyway. Also, to say about the dance sequence, I think we'll talk about it properly when we get there. It was brilliant. It was a really clever idea. But it also kind of frustrates me that it was all kind of coyed up. It was all very coy and beautiful and romantic, okay, and sweet. And we're supposed to be... I think it's I think it sends a dangerous message that this was a beautiful, innocent, wonderful meeting of two people, and it was just a terrible, unforeseen accident that she had a stroke. It wasn't at all. If they showed what actually happened, and they're given the reason that it was before the watershed, well, in that case, don't do the story.
And the only thing was, it wasn't before the watershed, was it? It was after 9 o'clock on Tuesday.
But I think if everybody saw what he did to her, actually physically, and it wasn't dancing and all this floaty nonsense and flowers and nice music in the background, if you saw him in bed choking her, you would have a different opinion about what actually happened and what I think your opinion would really change. Genuinely, I do think that if you were to watch it, a lot of people would find it really actually triggering, upsetting, violent, unpleasant.
That's something that Corrie can't show as well, isn't it? So they're dipping their toe. Well, they're cannonballing into the water of this storyline, unable to actually show what the crux of it is.
Yeah,
and they have to use these metaphors.
We don't let people consent to being harmed physically. It's not something. It's not something that we allow. The reason why the law, and this is frustrating as well, the reason why this law has changed specifically is because there were too many people using the excuse of rough sex to get away with murdering women. I know this is not the same thing, but it's the same pathway. Over 60 women have been murdered in this country by male partners during sex because...
through this strangling?
Not through strangling, but part of it. And so they had to make sure that this was outlawed and you can't consent to any kind of harmful behaviour during sex that would lead to physical damage or death. Mm. But they had to make a special law about it because men were murdering. Also, rape in marriage used to be legal. Women need so many more protections in law because of the way that men are violent towards us. This is just another arm of it. I just can't see how anyone can say it's not a violent act. It is a violent act. Yeah. I think that... So there's a website that I remember reading it when this was a campaign. It was called We Can't Consent to This .uk. You can just type in We Can't Consent to This.
Hyphens are all one word.
No, we can't consent to this. You can't consent to being injured during sex because people use it as an excuse to murder and harm women and say that she wanted it to happen. Yeah. And you can't withdraw consent after you've had a stroke.
What?
Can you? Betsy can't go back in time and undo it. She said, she can't consent to it. You can't consent to it.
What's your thoughts now? I don't know whether you said it. I'm not sure.
There's so many things I haven't said.
I think lots can come up as we go through the episode.
I'm really frustrated because I know people are going to get mad at me about this. But I'm not going to enter into any discussions about this opinion that I have. You can't sway me about it. I'm going to be the bad guy. I don't care.
But I think a lot of people will be really pleased to hear.
If one woman listens to me and if this gives her the strength to say no, or tell a friend to say no, or a man to not do it, then even if nobody does, I couldn't sit here in good conscience not say what I really think about this.
What do you think now? Because I don't think you said specifically about should Corrie tackle this.
Well, I think it's okay to be able to say that awareness needs to be raised about it. Okay?
I think because that's the thing. At first, I thought people surely don't need awareness or raising of this, but I think they really, really do now. So yeah.
So there's two questions: is this an important issue, and do people need to be educated about it, and should it be on Coronation Street? I think the answer to that is not the same. For both questions, it's not yes. It's I just don't think I don't. Sorry.
Do you
9-year-old maiden aunt.
I wonder what the final message of this.
Do you know
is
what
going
I'm annoyed about though?
Oh,
being made to feel like a husky old lady prude, like some kind of nasty, nasty. The Granny Spellman.
Because you're not doing what everyone's
doing.
No,
because I'm saying I don't think we should have it on Coronation Street and I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I refuse to be shamed for kink shaming. I think we should bring it back. And I know, I'm sorry, but I know, the thing is, people say, it is damaging to people, and I think that in the past you could definitely make an argument that it stops women from seeking help. It stops people from being educated. It also stigmatizes people like gay people because it's considered, people have got funny opinions about that as well, and that would come under kink shaming. We live in a different universe, and not all kinks are the same.
Yeah. I wanted to. I think kind of the morals, if you like, or whatever the phrase is about this, we've kind of shared our thoughts, and I think I am still more on the you do what you want to do, But don't tell me you don't realise it's dangerous. I do want to kind of
look, we
steer
sorry,
around.
we just differ in that though. It's really funny because I was definitely on your side about that, but since I've thought about it more, I genuinely think that porn has groomed children into believing that it's not harmful. I think that
I agree. I totally agree with that.
But then you say you should know that it is harmful. Yeah.
It just seems like common sense to
I
me.
think people have been brainwashed.
Seems like common sense. Anyway, on a much less serious note, I do want to have my little rant about how Coronation Street spoiled this, because we've talked about that.
I know,
but I know this is such
interesting
much more
part.
vacuous kind of thing. But I am annoyed, and I am very entitled, and I am very spoiled. But why, Corrie? Why, Corrie and Corrie's social media, did you need to splash this all over, everywhere? Not just Corrie's social media, but you obviously had the deadlines for the Metro and the Mirror and everyone to talk about it. The second the episode appeared online at 7:00, this is what I said would happen when they put it on at 7:00, that people wouldn't then think of 8:30 or whenever as being, in the evening, being the proper broadcast time. It's so difficult to avoid spoilers. Not everybody can watch it at 7:00 in the morning. Most people, and I'm not going to say everybody, most people can watch it in the evening. So there's lots of people who saw the news about this in the morning, myself included, and I went through the day kind of forming my own opinions without, I didn't read any of the in-depth stats necessarily. I didn't know about how it was going to work. But I went through the day feeling like by the time I'd sat down to watch the episode, I'd already really made up my mind about it. And that's really difficult to get out of sometimes, especially when it's such a controversial topic as this, and something that lots of people, myself included, feel quite strongly about.
You were robbed of context.
And the way that the episode was done, I mean, to begin with, they had the trailer last week, didn't they? Of, there's an ambulance leaving number 6. Betsy's in hospital, but they didn't say what it was then. And hey, they didn't need to do that, but to me, that's just a general spoiler. It's like they're always saying, next week on Corrie, someone's going to go to hospital. It's like, it's no big deal anymore. So like, okay, Betsy's going to go to hospital. We've known for months that she was going to have a big story coming up. We've teased as much. And I apologise for anybody that doesn't like that, because I did kind of engage in minor spoilering by saying Betsy's going to have a big story. I was a little bit confused because I'm certain this was sold as a coming of age story. It was, wasn't it? I'm not making this up. We were told that Betsy was going to have a coming of age story, and I don't like the idea that when you come up of a certain age, my lass, you'll get your first hands round your neck. Don't like that. But anyway, so we had the trailer last week, and at least I was hoping that I could go into the episode going, we're going to find out what it was. And the episode was mostly done in a way to kind of go, what's going on here then? We're going to show Brian sweeping up outside the cabin and an ambulance goes past. We're going to keep you guessing for a little bit longer. And then I think was it the advert break cliffhanger was Lisa going into the hospital, and we were supposed to be thinking at this point, is it Carla or is it Betsy? Except we'd already been told in the trailer that it's Betsy. But I guess there'd be some people who were free of all that thought, it could be Carla here. But yeah, it was obviously Betsy, so that was a bit odd. And then the big, huge revelation at the end of the episode during the dance scene, which was, no, this happened to me because... this happened to me after he choked me during sex. That must have been huge for loads of people that were able to watch it at 7:00. And in fact, I've seen people's comments going, I was watching this live, my jaw hit the floor, I couldn't believe it. And I was thinking, I wish that I'd had that reaction. And it's very, very entitled of me, and I can't deny it. Yes, it is. But I really, really wish that they could have just kept it a secret. I wish that I hadn't been spoiled. I never want to be spoiled, but in this case, it was because it led me to forming some very strong opinions about the episode before I even sat down to watch it. And I've had to in some ways, I've stepped back from some of those opinions since. I said I gave Tuesday's episode a bog standard. It was probably banging, but I was still just that little bit mad that I was robbed of the opportunity to experience this shock the way Corrie had intended. before they decided to spoiler it online. And there was so much
with another story this week as well.
Yeah, there was.
We can't say obviously what it is, but they've really done it to another story.
Yeah, there's going to be a surprise next week that's been spoiled already with some pictures. But yeah, so I was really, really mad about that. I didn't like having to form an opinion about it beforehand and then try and sort of understand it and rechange my opinion. But yeah, Tuesday's episode was great. Performances this week, absolutely outstanding. Sydney Martin, clap, clap, clap. She has been brilliant. There was so much great stuff on Tuesday's episode. I still stand by that. I wish the dance sequence wasn't like that. And it's funny because I, again, can seem very contrary because I'm sure if you go back a couple of years where we had the Paul's Perspective episode, there was something very, very similar to this, wasn't there? There was the rave scene. Do you remember at the beginning of the episode with him and Billy and it was all orange and then they were running out through the door? I can't remember everything, how it happened. But I was singing that episode's praises, and I think maybe, if this had been the first time that they'd done something like this, I'd have been like, okay, it's a little bit not Corrie, but it was pretty good, wasn't it? But by this time, I was just like going, oh, here we go again. This is just like that thing with Paul a little bit. I wish Corrie wouldn't do this. This isn't Corrie. Corrie shouldn't do this. It's not novel anymore. It's still a bit novel, but it's... Yeah, so I don't know how else they could have done it other than just through dialogue, which Corrie managed to get through 60 years of exposition through dialogue about what happened. But hey, I think that if they were going to say, right, we can't show the sex scene as it was, but we want to show something, how can we do it? Actually, I think this was a very clever way of doing it. And how
very clever.
How they showed Betsy's aphasia with the marbles and the paper.
The aphasia as a metaphor.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that
very
was
clever, but almost
really...
a bit too clever for its own good.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
it was very apparent what they were doing.
Yeah,
you watch it going, oh, how arty and clever.
Right, and that's a bit like what we were saying about the football, the new scene, rather than sitting back and just kind of enjoying a kind of funny-ish Tyrone and Kirk scene. I was thinking, oh, look at the lighting. They filmed this in the morning. When was this filmed? And I don't want to be taken away from the drama by thinking about the technicalities of the filming.
Can I give you a football analogy for what you're talking about with the spoilers?
It?
Yeah, you will.
Oh.
So...
It's very unlike me.
To me, the existence of the spoiler is like always hanging over you, and every single day when you wake up, if you don't see something on the internet about what happened, when you get to the episode, it's going to be all right. It's not going to be the best episode.
That's really true, actually.
And this is what happened to me when I was watching the football, because I was watching it on my iPad, and ITVX is crap. And so I was always 2 minutes behind, and there was never any tension for me because my mum would always message me when there was a goal. So it's exactly the same thing. It's like being on a delay watching a football match.
Yeah, and even people can say, don't go on social media then, but Corrie's on 5 days a week. You can't not, especially as Coronation Street podcasters, you can't spend, the 12 hours, 10 hours in between the initial broadcast and when we can actually get around to watching it.
I didn't consent to being told spoilers about this.
But, it wasn't even just a case of we have a little look on Instagram like, oh, I saw something I didn't want to see. But I saw some people tagged us in posts going, oh, what's Coronation Street, what's Conversation Street going to think of this? And I don't, people, I'm excited that people want to know how we're going to talk about it. That's great. Yeah. That's lovely that people think of us, because we've had that all the time that we've done the podcast. People writing in saying, oh, I wonder what Michael and Gemma are going to think of this.
Like I said, I don't want anyone's enthusiasm to get crushed. I love it that people think about us and want to know what we think.
Yeah, I do, but it's almost impossible to avoid that.
We've got to get, look.
And Corrie so
ITV
rarely
needs to give us access.
Yeah, they do. Corrie so rarely has a Bayek moment. I mean, I guess this will count as a Bayek nomination this year because
I'm not
it wasn't
having
revealed until broadcast.
No, we're not having it. No, I'm not having that.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not giving an award on YouTube to choking during sex for Coronation Street. I'm just not going to do it.
Well, Corrie better get some more then, because as I say, it doesn't happen very much. Big shocking moments and reveals this year have kind of been Billy dies, but we kind of knew that was coming. Theo dies. Okay, we didn't know that was coming. Sarah Lou was the killer. And this is the only one that's not been kind of murder related. And only on one of those did they have the decency to not broadcast it at 7 o'clock in the morning. So
this is a massive storyline. It probably will get an award. It's not going to be called the Sex Choking Award.
Is it not going to be called the Beyond the Choke Award?
No.
Okay.
Like Sydney Martin is doing an excellent job.
Sydney Martin is absolutely stellar in this.
The character I most resonated with, and I'm going to just give a little critique here because I want it to be even-handed. Lisa was being an absolute snot to that poor doctor.
She was.
All the way up until she found out about what Dylan had done, and then she was literally vibrating with rage. And then when she launched herself at Dylan to try to strangle him herself, that was the person I most vibed with the entire week. I was like, yes, we are both vibrating with rage about this.
Yeah.
I just really am so protective of women and girls, and the bad, sad influence that any kind of like pressure or cultural or societal thing makes women think they have to do X, Y, or Z, and then it causes harm. I really nearly swore then. I bloody hate it that women are always pressured and always the ones that get hurt by this stuff, and so protective over them, over us all. It makes me really upset. I'm gonna cry. I'm so cross. And this is why I react in the way I do and get angry.
Yeah, but you were... it was at the end of Tuesdays, or was it Wednesdays? I can't remember, where Dylan walks into the hospital and then Ryan's like, oh, you'd better leave, and Lisa launches out.
That's when she goes...
Yes!
I was like, yeah. I said, if I was there, I would be stopping Ryan, and me and Lisa would grab him, and then we'd make him eat his own balls, and then we'd both go, I didn't know it was dangerous. I thought that was normal. And then see what happens.
Yeah, Vicky Myers has been through all manner of emotions in her performance this week, so that definitely deserves a shout out as well. But for someone so young, I know Sydney Martin isn't as young as Betsy is. She's 25, 26 now, I can't remember. But that was a brilliant performance of a stroke. I've never known anyone with a stroke, so hey, maybe it's awful, but I don't think... Well, no, it was interesting. She spoke to Mark Charnock, didn't she? Who plays, of course, the lovely Marlon in Emmerdale, to get some tips on stroke acting. And it's even... I mean, she could have talked to Bill Roach, couldn't she? To be honest, because Ken had a stroke, didn't he?
Okay.
I've not said that Bill Roach has had a stroke.
I don't know. About.
No, when Ken had his stroke back 6-7 years ago. 6-7.
Shut up.
I told you, I'm just getting down with
too
the kids.
Too influenced by the internet.
I am too influenced by the internet. So it was the way that she's slurring her speech, and getting frustrated with herself and not being able to say the right thing. Absolutely fantastic. We haven't had as much Carla or even Ryan. Ryan's been a nice kind of brother bit, but he's not had to do quite so hardcore acting as Vicky and Sydney have this week. And actually, the other person I was really interested in seeing how they would get on was Anthony Cotton, because I've never hid away from my love of Sean. I think he's a really fun character. I think he's not used as much as he should be. What's relevant here is that in recent years, when he's had to be the dad and the mad dad and the Dylan, what the hell are you doing? He's really risen to the occasion. During the knife crime storyline, Anthony Cotton really, really top class job, I reckon. And I was thinking, what's it going to be like in this? And although some of the things that the character has said this week have certainly got people's goat, I'm certainly not disappointed by Anthony's performance as well. So I want to give him props as well, and of course Liam McShane as well. Again, I'm not defending Dylan's reaction here, but I think...
of people are.
Oh, I know. But yeah, I think that everybody is doing a cracking job, and that's really helping. So it's a real combination of a risky, bold move to do this storyline, some super scripts, and really, really excellent performance. And the direction's quite good, but I just don't need to see purple dance sequences. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's Jordan Hogg doing it this week, isn't it? I think I can't remember whether it was him all week. It was definitely him today.
Friday,
yeah, and I enjoyed the shot of Brody and Dylan just round the corner of Sainsbury's that was filmed from floor level. See, I'll give credit where credit's due, but I can't remember who. I'm not saying that the dance sequence was directed badly.
It was really, look, it was elegantly done. It was crafted well.
It was. It's just the whole concept behind it.
Coronation Street. I don't like
that's
songs.
not what floats my boat.
And why do they always pick weird songs?
What?
It's like, okay, don't want to song shame, right? But and obviously, look, everyone's got their own taste in music, and I think I've got quite a broad range of taste in music, and
like me.
I don't think there's any genre where I'm like, God, I hate that.
Jazz.
But somehow, every single song they seem to pick that's not a classic on Corrie, it's like, what is this noise? And they're all like, they're not even like the same genre. They're all from all over the place. This was like, I did Shazam this, but it's always something. I'm like, what is? It's like it's
that's
whoever
not
does
always
it.
True.
No, I just said the classics. It's like whoever does this, whoever picks the songs, always picks the exact opposite of what. And it's just bizarre. This song was called "Dance Me to the End of Love" by the Civil Wars.
I enjoyed the music choices that they had at the beginning of Murder Week when Toy was driving a van
but they were
around
classics.
every
That's
week.
what I said.
Oh, okay.
I deliberately said
the ones that aren't classics. The ones that, yeah.
All the crap ones.
I enjoyed using Side by Travis at the end of Corridor.
That's a classic.
Is it?
Any song I've heard of is a classic.
And if you haven't, okay, so what we're saying is you haven't heard a song in Coronation Street and said, need to add that to my rotation.
Never.
That's going to go on my driving playlist.
Never.
Okay, fair enough. So anyway, I suppose we better run down what happens in this. But I really hope that between us, we have explained our thoughts on this.
I don't feel like I've given a good account.
No,
of myself,
I think you have, and I think that there's
going
to be people. I think there's going to be people who are going to say well done to Gemma for being.
I don't want to
passionate
hear
and
anything.
open about it.
Like praise me. I don't want to hear it. For once, I'm just going to say, indulge me and not bother to tell me if you don't agree with me on this, because I couldn't. There's nothing productive. It's just going to annoy me. I've literally spent all since this has happened reading so many comments that have really upset me on social media about people still not like saying, oh, but it's really great because now it's raised awareness of how to do it safely, or it's not Dylan's fault. He didn't know how much force to use. It's so frustrating because if you watch it, you can't do it safely. Just don't.
The message of this story, the conclusion, isn't going to be Betsy and Dylan learning the lesson of how to do it safely, is it?
There's no safe way of doing it.
And even some of the charity comments that Corrie has put on its social media or on its website about this, I can't remember if I wrote down any particular charities that they were working with.
Yes.
Oh, the Institute for Addressing Strangulation, IFAS, the Stroke Association, Safeline. One of those had a comment on Corrie's webpage that was literally saying there is no safe way to do this. So Corrie is already making its stance clear.
Yeah, but they are still using terms like consensual strangulation to talk about this storyline, which I think is wrong. This is Schrodinger's consent, isn't it? Because suddenly it becomes non-consensual 2 days later when she has a stroke. It's Schrodinger's consent.
Yeah.
How is that possible? You cannot consent to this because you don't know what the consequences are going to be. So let's not go erotic asphyxiation, breath play. Let's not use these words that pretty up something that can kill people.
It is. It's making it seem like
I don't like
racy
euphemisms. This is why I didn't really like the dance sequence, because I felt like I see it was supposed to demonstrate demonstrating thoughts.
It's that Betsy thinks it was romantic.
It's okay that she thought that, but I just think that it sends a dangerous message, and I do understand the point of it. I got what was going on in that scene. I can understand why somebody did something and get the message and still not like it.
Yeah. And I still get why people think that it's too far for Coronation Street. That seems to be your stance at the moment with this. It's definitely fair to say it's a slippery slope, and we have talked this week about, is Ken Barlow going to end up going the same way as David Carradine at the end? And Corrie's saying, well, it's raising awareness of it, isn't it? Like,
isn't it
at
funny
what point
that this used to be what men died of, and it was a sordid little joke that some famous men would do this to themselves and kill themselves, or non-famous men as well, apparently. But now we've got these violent porn and it's normalised. Not normal, but it's been normalised and it's common. Now women are the ones that are getting hurt. I prefer it if the men just took their little belts off to their wardrobes and left us alone.
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
care if you hurt yourself.
Okay. Right, no.
Sorry, I don't care if a man does it.
That's terrible.
Knock yourself out.
Literally. Right. Beyond the choke then, Gemma. So, Monday's story, we were living in blissful ignorance that this was literally less than 24 hours away from being the hot topic amongst Coronation Street fans in the week. In fact, everyone was focused weirdly on social media about Lisa taking painkillers all the time, wasn't she?
This was really
Weren't they?
fascinating to see the Swallow fans trying to work out what was going on, because they knew this was a Betsy storyline, and lots of people were thinking that there were so many funny theories. Somebody thought that the bay leaf that got put into the bolognese was some kind of drug.
The camera did focus on that bay leaf.
I know, but I'm really upset. I'm just as upset that people need to be told not to strangle each other, that there are lots of people that need to be told what bay leaf is. It makes me sad. I think
People saying, what's that?
Yeah, they were like, oh, it's a special... There was a special word that they thought it was
They thought it was a drug?
It was a specific drug that they were referring to.
Well, we don't all have bay leaf trees in our garden like we do,
We've
Gemma.
got more than one.
Do we have more than one bay leaf tree in our
We've got
garden?
one there, we've got one over there. There was somebody else who thought that Lisa was addicted to paracetamol, and then there was a big debate about whether you can be addicted to paracetamol or not. And there was somebody who thought that Betsy might have a stroke because of her contraceptive pill. Pretty good guess.
Yes. I didn't have any idea. I literally had no idea. I didn't notice the paracetamol thing myself. I just saw the comments about
She'd
it. But
done
I think,
it twice recently.
Yeah, last week and this week she was taking paracetamols. I didn't notice that, but nothing gets
But
past
isn't
the
it
eyes of
funny?
the ardent Swallow fans.
But it's also really funny that Lisa seems to be the one. Now Stu's gone with his cough. Lisa seems to be the one that does things that don't lead to anything but cause huge speculation, like that time she sneezed or the time she coughed.
She's just too good at sneezing, isn't she? I do. It doesn't mean that the paracetamol thing isn't going to go anywhere.
Could
It
you?
might still do, because it is. Like, I just wonder whether this week's Corrie sponsored by Big Pharma, because
No.
who else was getting paracetamol this week? I'm sure there was something in another story this week where they were going to Devs to get paracetamols. I can't remember who it was now. It will come up when we get there. But yeah, so that was kind of funny. There's just some lovely nice scenes with Dylan and Betsy, because they're building up on the Monday that they're in a lovely relationship. And let's go cooking together. It was not dissimilar to just before Mason died. God, Betsy's been through trauma, hasn't she? She's only been in the show, 2 years? Less than 2 years, maybe? No, I think it was a 2-year anniversary just recently. And she's been shot, she's had her boyfriend stabbed, she's had her mum come back from the dead.
She had a stroke.
Yeah, yes, exactly. She's had a hell of a lot to... But that's what Corrie does.
Also,
that's what Corrie does to its young female characters.
Yeah.
It drains them dry.
And her best mate Lauren was kidnapped.
No, her best mate Sabrina has been kidnapped and nobody's noticed.
Yeah.
Sabrina, where she's surely going to be appearing on some milk bottles in Weatherfield soon. Not that we do that in this country, but I thought you'd
No, we don't
understand
do
the
that. We
reference.
say, sorry, if you're lost, then it's your own fault. Take some personal
bring back-
responsibility.
Tell you what, Sabrina's not going to be visiting Betsy in hospital, is she?
No.
Not caring that friend.
Rude.
I'd love it if she did. And I'm actually wondering, and I don't want to, I do like, I did enjoy Becky. Thought she was a great addition to the show. I thought she was a lot of fun. Little cheeky girl she
Yes.
was. Is anybody going to be telling her that her daughter has had a stroke? She deserves to know.
Of course she'll know.
She deserves
Would you
to
be
know.
allowed to visit her?
I mean, you should, shouldn't you? Sure, your daughter's had a stroke. You should be allowed to come and visit her.
Yeah. Go on.
That's all I'm saying.
Let's go.
Justice for Becky. That's the most controversial thing that we've said this episode. Anyway.
I haven't got to Dylan yet, that's why.
Dylan
Well, we have
isn't
to-
really impressed with the eggs that Betsy's made for breakfast, and so later she comes and finds him and says, look, will you teach me to cook properly? It's going to be helpful when I'm away in London on my fashion course. Good luck with that. And so they decide to cook this spag bowl together later. And she's a little bit still, she'd remembered what had happened last week when Lauren had said, oh, you're going to have a baby soon, and Dylan had felt a little bit like, oh, well, hold your horses about it. And he says, no, look, honestly, I'm committed to you, I don't want you with anyone else, I'm going to come and see you in London, I'm going to stay with my mum. They have a kiss, and it was just a nice little romantic scene. But it did put me in mind of just before Mason died, they were having that spaghetti. It's the spaghetti, isn't it? It's the cursed spaghetti. They were having carbonara, and the next day he was stabbed.
Coronation Street has never thrown off that English suspicion of Italian food. It will lead to no good.
Although, you know, Tim was singing its praises just the other week, wasn't
Exactly.
he? Anyway, so you kind of left the episode with, oh, that was quite nice, wasn't it? But if you'd seen the trailer, you were left with this lingering feeling of, when's that going to happen then? Because I honestly, I didn't know that Tuesday was the day that this was all going to go down. I had a feeling it was this week because the trailer had been out last week. But often they have the big things happen on Mondays, because then they can, and when the images for the following week are released on the Tuesday, the big thing has already happened. So when Betsy didn't end up getting the blues and twos on Monday, I thought, oh, maybe it's next week it's going to happen then. So I was not looking for, on Tuesday morning, anything to happen that has happened. And that's sometimes if I know that there's a big episode on, because often Corrie will say, hey, something big's happening today, hey, we're going to find out who killed Theo, I will then, on days like that, be able to say, I'm not going to go on social media today, but I had no reason, because I hadn't read any synopses or anything, I had no reason to think that Tuesdays was going to be a big episode. Wednesday, sorry, was going to be a big episode. Yeah, that's why, part of the reason why I ended up getting spoiled. But hey.
So they go upstairs and they dance.
They go upstairs and have a little bit of a dance, don't they? Yeah. So Wednesday's episode was the big one, and like I said earlier, it starts with Brian doing his best Norris impression as he has a little bit of a sweep outside the cabin, and we see an ambulance pulling away, and then Ross comes into the cafe later, and he says, "Oh, you know what that ambulance was on Coronation Street?" Hey, I said the name programme I'm in. And Roy dashes off when he hears that it's outside number 6. Carla, we then cut to, dashing inside the hospital, meeting up with Ryan. So again, we now know that it's not them in trouble.
The thing that's annoying about this is that it was so beautifully crafted to reveal gradually who the victim was.
Yeah,
but it was spoiled
by
someone farting it all over Twitter.
At
8 o'clock in the morning.
Well, no, it was spoiled by the fact that Corrie decided to trailer that it was going to be Betsy. But yeah, it was all came together in a very difficult to avoid this. But I know some people did avoid it and still watch it at night. So good for you.
Well, good for you.
No, what are you going to say?
It's not unique to Coronation Street that marketing spoils things because it's not their job to.
No, totally not.
Can you imagine though if it was like this summer, Bruce Willis in a movie where he's been dead the whole time, The Sixth Sense. You won't believe. Oh, whoops.
It is a little, or even like, you won't believe the twist at the end of this movie. Not that they do movie trailers like this anymore, but you know what I mean. Because that's the thing. That's why I'm like
in a world where Betsy is in hospital.
I do wish they'd go back to that style of trailer.
He's
and not
dead.
That dum kind of trailer
dead.
that is everything now. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, that's why M. Night Shyamalan movies aren't quite so fun anymore, because you go in there knowing that there's going to be a twist.
She's dead, he's dead, it's the future, it's the past, they're all old, they're all young, it's a magical island. That's not your grandma.
I was very pleased with myself when I went to see The Village and I guessed the twist on that. I'm usually terrible at guessing twists, and maybe that was a really obvious twist, but I was like, oh, I wonder if, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody here, if you haven't seen this 20-year-old film.
And I also ruined Rogue One by saying, wouldn't it be funny if they all died at the end? And they did.
Spoiler, Gemma.
Well, it's had a TV show based on it now, so...
Fair enough. Anyway, Lisa goes into the hospital room, and Param, it's Betsy there, unconscious, in the bed. Sorry, Carla goes into the room, and Lisa is there next to Betsy on the bed. So we learn that she's had a CT scan, there's an MRI scan imminent. She wakes up, and she says, oh, I'm really sorry. She says, I dropped it, because she's kind of remembering the last thing that she was conscious for, which was she was doing some washing up, and she wants to apologise for dropping the mug on the floor. And anyway, before they obviously say, don't worry about it, then it's our MRI time. Betsy's there saying, I'm so scared. Lisa's being a lovely, reassuring mum. Again, the fantastic performances from the Connor Swain clan really started with that scene, and they didn't let go. Then you kind of cut to Dylan and Brody and Lauren in the cafe, blissfully unaware that any of this is happening. In fact, Dylan's worried that Betsy's not been responding to his texts all day.
And they're teasing him.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I should dump your mate or whatever. And then Roy comes over and tells him about Betsy being in hospital. It was kind of, is that the only reason that Roy dashed off? So that he could be the one to tell Dylan later? I suppose storyline wise, somebody needed to. But it's interesting that as a member of the extended family friendship group, we haven't seen Roy in the hospital set yet this week. But hey. MRI results are back. We find out that Betsy has suffered a stroke caused by a blockage in an artery. She's going to have an injection to dissolve the clot. So what's happened? So that obviously there was pressure applied on the neck that stopped the blood getting to the brain for a few seconds. That then caused...
Also stopped the blood as well.
Yeah, and that's caused this big clot to arise. And Lisa is in denial at first, as you probably would be. Like, a stroke? What? No, she's 18. 18-year-olds don't have strokes. Well, I think you'll find Lisa...
I would believe the doctor if the doctor told me.
Lisa was being, like you said earlier, quite confrontational about this. Like,
it's part
different
of the...
people react to things in different ways, but often in Coronation Street, if a doctor tells somebody something, a common reaction is, "No, you're wrong."
It was part of the drama of the episode. I don't hold it against her, but the attitude, like, separating the attitude from the character, because, like I said, it was written for the drama, and everybody, like you said, everybody does it in the hospital scenes. That's just part of the thing. Separating it from the character, I really hate the way that characters behave when they do this in a hospital.
But I think it was very Lisa in her way. She's kind of quite black and white and blunt about things, and in her head it's like, no, that doesn't happen.
She's smart enough to know that she doesn't know.
Yeah. So anyway, but the doctor says, look, we're going to need to do more tests here, speak to Betsy about what happened. You can talk to her first if you like, Lisa. And then she has a bit of a cry in Carla's arms. That's what Carla was mostly there for this week, wasn't it? As
very supportive.
Big supportive shoulder to cry in and hug.
Yes.
So they tell Betsy the news later, and she's like, what? It's a stroke. How on earth can that happen? She's still obviously very foggy about what happened. And she says, I'm really sorry, Lisa, Mum, sorry. And then Lisa promises that she's going to be okay. She has this little story about when Betsy fell off a climbing wall, was it, at the police station when she was 6, and she just picked herself back up and got on with it as if nothing had happened, and you'll do it this time. I was a wreck though, says Lisa. That's just the way I am.
Well, she's just trying to say, like, this is why I'm scared.
Yeah. She...
Again, like, not... Because it's a TV show... She's wearing her emotions on her face, but I would hope that you would be more guarded and not be there looking like your daughter's about to die, where she can see you looking at her like that. Yeah,
I mean, I saw somebody commenting online, and I quite like this actually, the idea that maybe Becky was there encouraging, as the cool mum, Betsy to climb up this climbing wall, and Lisa, throughout all that time in the relationship, had to be the square mum, you know, for like she was the mum that said, no, Betsy, don't do that.
Yeah, and
so
I'm the
she's
square
got it
one.
hardwired into her
as being,
I'm the one that worries for you.
Don't do that. I worry about you. Just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, she says Betsy's going to be fine. Dylan walks into the room, and Ryan and Carla get up to go, pulling Lisa along with her so that the couple can have a bit of time together.
I love this because Lisa obviously not really wanting to give up the time that she's got that's precious with her daughter. And it's even funnier that she's going to end up hating Dylan and will never...
Yeah.
I mean, ironic rather than funny.
Nothing's funny about
Nothing's
this.
Funny about this.
No funny storyline titles or
no,
anything.
Don't smile.
Belong here. Anyway, while Dylan's in there, Betsy starts having another stroke.
What's he done to her?
I know, it's like, don't worry, choke.
Hands of her.
No, this is a secondary stroke, isn't it? He's not done anything since.
I don't believe him.
But yeah, he's like,
like I said, like I read,
drama.
And I totally agree with this.
It's the break.
All men should be locked up and have to prove their way out.
Would I get out?
I don't know.
Would you let me?
I'm not sure.
That was supposed to be the end of the Tuesday episode, wasn't it? Because this was done as a
two separate ones,
week,
and then they did.
Yeah, so the first half of the episode was set on Tuesday, and the next
very well.
Yeah, it
together.
did.
I think this would have been less impactful if it had been two separate.
I wonder, because I imagine that 24 hours of speculation that would have taken place.
Yeah, because we wouldn't know it was a stroke.
Known.
We didn't know what it. I don't know that we knew it was a stroke.
It was in the synopses that it was a stroke, but I think that actually seeing it happen would have ramped it up into overdrive, the speculation and
speculation street.
And fortunately for those people that weren't spoiled online before watching, they were able to enjoy it. Well, enjoy, that's probably a bad word, but experience it within the same hour slot. So we come after the break to the next day. It's Wednesday, it's 4 a.m. The clot's been removed successfully, and we find out that it's actually impacted Betsy a lot worse. Her voice has got a lot worse now. Mobility's got worse. I think, is it like she's pretty paralysed down the right hand side of her?
There were two words that they said. One of them was weakness on your left hand side, and one of them was the aphasia, which is
I wrote it down at some
not being able
point,
to
but I can't remember
have the right word for things.
Yeah, she gets told about it later. I think I've written it down later, but yeah, I know the aphasia one. So I read somewhere with Sydney saying that she had to have some kind of prosthetic on of her face to make it look a bit droopier than normal as well. Yeah, but it's very good. It's not anything obvious. She's doing such a good job. I can't stress that enough. She's absolutely knocking it out of the park. Anyway, Betsy's trying to communicate with them, and Lisa's getting even more frustrated. Not with Betsy,
upset,
but she's getting upset that she can't understand her.
Yep.
She's literally, and that's a bit like, again, drawing parallels with Billy and Paul. Do you remember that scene?
Yep.
Was this on Paul's last day or whatever? No, it was Paul's last journey, when he comes out of the pub and Paul's he's trying to say I love you, Billy, but Billy thinks he's saying he wants to go to the toilet. I think
it's really hard.
And that was a really kind of gut wrenching moment, that one, and this as well. Betsy wants a shower, and Dylan says, "Oh, look, you look beautiful as you are," and Betsy's crying. Lots of tears shed by Betsy this week. Meanwhile, you got the factory lot. Sean's passing a card round for Betsy. Little does he know how much his son has been involved in this at this moment. And he's saying, "Oh yeah, Dylan's having a nap. I'm really proud of him, actually, the way he's kind of stepped up to the plate for his girlfriend. He's doing a good job. He's been a good lad. I'm good on him." Yeah.
Would a mum say that about her daughter? Or is it just expected of women? But when a man does it, it's like, "Ooh, roll out the medals."
Yeah, he washed her pants this time.
He's got a goodie bag. That's what happens at the end. This like trying to make, everyone feels sorry for Dylan. He's made a goodie bag for his girlfriend.
At this time, there is no reason for Dylan to believe that he's responsible for this, is there?
Well, I mean, apart from the fact that now everybody knows, he should have watched Coronation Street, and then he would know. I don't want anyone. Listen, if one good thing comes out of this, it should be that nobody can say with straight face, "I didn't know that could happen." And like I said, I do feel more sympathy about people who have been groomed into thinking this is.
But yeah, awareness has been raised now.
But I'm getting frustrated by the people that have still been told this and are still going on about it as though it's okay.
And it can be done safely.
Nope.
Anyway, Ryan's with Betsy later, and then the doctor comes back in and says, "We've got some questions for you in private." And I thought that this was an in private, as in your mum can't even be here, or you might not want your mum here.
She would have been told and asked if she wanted her mum to be there.
Yeah, I would have thought. Well, I don't think we saw that, did we? And so they're told,
but she would not. I mean, again, is this really truly informed consent? Because as soon as I realised, as soon as anyone told me this is probably something that happened to you in the bedroom, I'd be like, "Mum, can you leave the room, please?" You know what I mean? Like, get out.
Do you want your mum in? It's a sex thing.
Yeah. Well, they didn't know, did they? They didn't know.
No, they didn't.
But although I do think from the doctor's expression that she seen it before.
Oh, 100%.
And she was like, this is the way she was leading her. Like, it might not have been
She was leading her.
It
She
might not
she
have
couldn't
been
say
something
it,
that you.
but that doctor has, especially because this is a common thing. It's that people do this, so people have got themselves injured doing this. So that this doctor totally knew what it was. Had a very good idea. Had a very good idea.
She knew it was possible.
Yeah, yes, that's sorry. She knew it was a possible thing. So anyway, there she's Betsy is told there's some damage to your artery in your neck. Can you remember a time when you were hit in the neck? And Betsy, this is when the flashback starts, the artsy flashback. We get to see a little purple carriage, and then she snaps out.
It was very clever.
It was.
I would have liked to have seen it in a different show that's not Corrie.
Yeah. She says, well, I remember the dinner last night, and then she's kind of narrating over the top of. So it's Dylan in a vest, which is. I saw some people saying it was a bit Ghost, a bit Patrick Swayze.
This is why it annoys me. Do you remember the bit in Ghost when Patrick Swayze strangles what's her face?
Demi Moore, is it?
Well, yeah, Demi Moore, and then she turns into a ghost.
Not quite.
Why
Although there was a point where he wishes he could strangle. No, Whoopi Goldberg wishes that she could have strangled him. Yeah, I know. It's I think it was all just supposed to be leaning into the isn't this romantic? It is.
But it's not. It's not romantic to strangle your girlfriend and put her in hospital.
So she's
sorry to crap all over it.
She remembers the dinner.
But I want people to understand.
She remembers the dinner, and she's sitting there with the spag bowl in front of her. Was it
well,
spag?
She says marbles.
Then she says marbles,
cake.
and this is her. This is supposed to be trying to show that I can't get the words. And
it was great.
I thought that was really clever. Again, I just.
Well, we don't have to keep saying.
Anyway.
But it was very, very.
I think I think even the first time I watched through the scene, I wasn't completely clear about what was going on here. And I know I'm dumb, it's probably very obvious. But I'm sure there were lots of other people that were going, what's happening here? And even the fact that it was set in the garage, wasn't it? Because they're saying garage, and then she's like, no, not garage, kitchen. But there's still the garage motifs around the back. And
that was really clever. And I was there going, no, they didn't have dinner in the garage. What is this stupidity?
I know. I was a little bit as well. But I get it now. I got it not long after broadcast. I got most of it during broadcast. I'm just making myself look really silly here. Anyway.
You won't be the only one who thought it.
It's a brownie that she has for dinner, isn't it? It's not a plate of marbles. And then she said, and then we danced. I think that was the bit that I didn't fully get, because I thought they actually were dancing, but they didn't dance, did they? They just went straight from dinner to the bed. And
you should do bed then dinner, because it's not good for your digestion.
Crumbs in your bed.
No, you get the bed out of the way, because you don't want to be there going, oh, do you know what, the spag bowl's sitting heavy on my stomach.
Yeah, I'm a bit too full for a bit of rumpy pumpy actually.
I can't dance at the moment. I'm going to get indigestion.
Yeah, especially after that brownie as well.
Oh
well, these young teens, they're randy buggers, aren't they?
Get heavy on the stomach, isn't it? A bit heavy on the stomach for dancing.
Anyway, this is when we see the hands going to her neck, and like you said earlier, she's kind of guiding them there to portray this consent.
Schrodinger's consent.
Yes, and the doctor says, is this when it happened? And Betsy says, yeah, not long, normal, done before, everybody does. And
right.
Lisa is really confused here, because she's obviously thinking, what, dancing and strangling, what on earth? She says, nobody's ever put their hand round me when they've been dancing with me. And this is when the kind of it drops, when when Betsy's like, no, it's fine. She says, oh no! This isn't still the moment, is it? It's a little bit later. This is when Lisa's still getting absolutely fuming, because she has learned at this point that it's Dylan that is potentially.
It was in bed.
Caused it. No, she hasn't.
Yes, she has.
Does she find out here?
Yes, she does.
Oh, yes, she does.
She
Sorry, she does. She does in this scene. Betsy says no. Not dancing, upstairs, bed, right. And Lisa realises what's going on.
Really, really angry. And then Betsy's like bewildered. It's fine.
Yeah, she doesn't get. Because of this normalisation of this, Betsy's like, what do you mean it's normal?
We owe it to people like Betsy to not let this be normal. Don't let anybody tell you this is normal. Don't let the idea that it's nice to not kink shame make you think that you need to accept things that end up with you in hospital bed.
breathing is really important. Blood going to your brain is really important. People get up to all sorts in bed that can be a bit painful, but I don't...
What are you doing? This is why I don't like talking about this. This is nobody's business.
I know.
This is absolutely nonsense to talk about this.
Whips may or may not be involved.
What are you talking about?
But I don't think that is going to be quite so easily lead to potential brain damage. And,
can I just say, for the
death.
avoidance of doubt, I think nobody should touch anybody from now on, because now we've invented IVF, there's no need for it. And all the men can go to their little rooms with their belts, and we can get this stuff to make the babies, and we don't need to worry about it. And all us women can go and enjoy each other's company on a magical island with lovely hair and everything smells nice.
I think lots of women quite like bedroom antics, Gemma.
Okay, but I'm just going to say that lots of women would also say, we all know that being gay is not a choice, because if we could choose, we would not want to be straight.
What does this say about me?
I don't know. You're one of the good ones.
I'm one of the only one. I'm the only good one.
No, you're not.
Thank you for that caveat.
There's lots of nice people on the walk who are mostly men.
We did have lots of nice.
We'd still lock you all up. With love.
Gemma, what on earth?
No, I don't care. I'm standing up for my girls.
Okay.
I don't mean my boobs. I mean all girls.
Right. So Lisa's totally fuming, and she says to Betsy, "You have got nothing to apologise for. This is that dog Dylan that's done this to you."
Filthy boy.
And Betsy's like, "No, Dylan didn't know." Speaking of the devil, Dylan chooses this exact moment to come into the hospital, to strolling along, saying, "I've visited Betsy earlier
I've made
today.
a goodie bag.
Given her a goodie bag." He was very thoughtful, wasn't he? He put all the good women things in there.
Oh, great.
Probably got a copy of Chit Chat in there and all. And Ryan immediately jumps up when he sees him coming in and is like, No, I don't think you should do this, mate. He's obviously not as... He's so upset by what's going on here.
Who is?
Ryan. But he's not as...
He's like, for your own safety, evacuate the building.
Yeah. Lisa is in Mama Bear protecting her cubs mode, isn't she?
So cross that a vein appears on her face, on her forehead, from anger.
Yeah.
That's acting.
I don't think that Ryan would have knocked Dylan's block off here, but I think possibly if Carla hadn't restrained Lisa, she might be possibly looking at a bit of a disciplinary for the police station for grievous bodily harm of her own.
You know, she's the most justified out of anybody to be violently defensive.
Well, I mean, Sarah Louise.
What do you mean? Okay. This is where my rigid enforcement of rules comes in.
Yeah.
And it's not to do with man hating, because I said the same about Sarah. She needs to go to prison. Dylan needs to go to prison for 5 years. Wow. I don't care how nice he is. Is that what
the general sentence is for this?
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Dylan.
I feel sorry for him. Everyone, I've seen so many comments. Oh, I feel sorry for Dylan. I feel so sorry for him. He put her in hospital. I'm sorry that he didn't mean it, but this is what I mean about my rigidity. If you've done something wrong, you should be punished for it. He did something wrong, it's illegal, it's a crime. You can't go around saying, I didn't know it was a crime. Well, it is a crime, you're in prison.
Ignorance of the law is not a defence.
And do you know what? If it takes one fictional boy on a pretend television show going to prison for 5 years to get people to realise this is actually serious and you shouldn't do it, then I'm prepared to sacrifice him. He's not real. I don't feel sorry for him because he's not real.
I feel sorry for Sean in this.
Lots of people hate Sean more than Dylan at this point.
Really? Mm-hmm. Why? Because he's defending him?
Because of what happened on Friday.
Okay, well, we'll say when we get to that. I wonder whether Violet is going to come marching up from London. Because the last time we saw Violet in it, she was like, Sean, you've been looking after Dylan for a year? And now he's in prison for carrying a knife. This
is a very interesting point. I don't know where they're going to go with this storyline. But if he does end up being prosecuted for this, they won't take into account his prior history when it comes to the case. But when it comes to sentencing, I think they can. If I'm a judge and I'm sitting looking at this boy going, I didn't know, and he was involved in a fatal stabbing, and now he's saying he strangled his girlfriend because she wanted him to, I'd be like, this boy is dangerous. He needs to go in prison for the maximum amount of time.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because both both the knife carrying thing and this, Dylan was just maybe a bit naive about it. He didn't carry that knife because he's like, yeah, I'm going to get someone. He was one of these kids who are saying, I'm carrying a knife for my own protection. And kids do and have said that.
So misunderstood and influenced. He's easily manipulated. He obviously is.
But it's,
and I'm sorry, look, again, I
yeah,
don't
he's
know
too
how,
easily manipulated.
I don't know what is in it for the man to strangle their partner, but how can you love somebody and put your hands around their neck and choke them?
I think
lots of men would find that really upsetting to do to their partner.
I would.
I think that if you are so desensitized by what you've seen on the internet that you think that that does something for you, I think that's really worrying, and you need to think about what it is that you're doing. It's violent.
Like I said,
I'm not going to be swayed about it.
Thinking about doing that to you this week is literally I can't.
Okay, right.
I'm really, really squeamish about it and just thinking how.
Can I just say the only time I accept that you should strangle your partner is when you do it properly and traditionally in order to kill them. And that is completely understandable in certain cases because some people are really annoying.
Women have got a long, proud history of strangling their men once they've reached the end of their tether.
No, it's more like the other way around. But
no, I know it is.
I'm going to say that I'll give every woman a pass to do it properly and traditionally.
Because men can be a bit annoying. Mm-hmm. I think it's really interesting that they're going down this route with Dylan, though. Because you've had lots of teenagers come through the street, especially in recent years, who have been clear wrong-uns.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Dylan has never been portrayed as a wrong-un. He's
always been caught up in something.
If we forget about this,
he's always been caught up in something that he wasn't his fault.
He's been a generally quite nice guy.
Oh, he's very sweet.
He's very, yeah, he is. He is.
But no, okay.
Mason needed a couple of weeks before the stabbing to make the viewers feel sorry for him. Mm-hmm. Dylan doesn't need that because we already sympathise with Dylan because he's a nice guy. He just makes
yeah.
What?
That I don't care. It just puts him in the same camp as the rest of them. Mm. And what this like women's need to be nice and kind and protective and mothering and nurturing can be so dangerous because so many girls are going, I feel sorry for Dylan, I feel really bad for him. Can we just feel bad for Betsy? Can we concentrate on that and forget Dylan's the one that did put her in there?
I really do wonder.
I don't feel sorry for him because he's not accepting he's done anything wrong. And even if he did accept it was wrong, he shouldn't have done it in the first place.
I really do wonder what's going to happen to Dylan from here because, you know, from what we know happened, from what we know is the law, he committed a crime because the law says that you can't do this if it's resulted in grievous bodily harm. What I don't want to happen is there's some way of him getting away with it or Betsy saying, oh, I'm not pressing charges or any of that kind of...
No, I want him to go to prison.
If he doesn't, it sets a bad precedent.
Yeah,
and
it does.
But it's kind of worrying because this is going on at the same time that Sarah Louise, who we just saw knock Theo off of the balcony of the scaffolding, I'm thinking, are they going to let her get away with that?
I'd rather she got away with it and he didn't because I'm sick and tired of people excusing violence against women.
But I think that the way that they've set it up is technically, I believe, neither of them should get away with it. But I fear that one or even both will.
This is skipping ahead slightly, but Betsy is obviously really upset. I feel really bad for her. I totally get why she feels the way she does. And I'm also going to say, I wish people would understand that you can feel justified in your emotions about something and somebody else has the opposite and they're also justified. I am justified in how I feel. Betsy is a character that's justified and Dylan is a character who's justified. It's fine. You don't need to worry about it. They're not real also. But just because Betsy's saying she doesn't want the police called, okay, she still loves him. Of course she does. She feels out of anybody, she's the one who's going to feel the worst for him. Because she probably will feel guilty
for asking him to do it.
Typical of the woman, it's her fault because she said, again, why are we letting violence be normalised against women. Anyway.
I don't think this is going to be shown as it's her fault.
No, it's not her fault.
I know it's not her fault, but I don't think
she's going
to feel that it is.
Right, so she doesn't want to make a statement, and I thought Brody was very lovely saying, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. Great. It's irrelevant because there's so much evidence, including his confession, that he did it, and proof and medical proof that they could still take him to trial whether she wants it to happen or not.
Yeah, and I really hope they do, and I think they should, but
He's a scallywag.
I would be sad to lose Dylan.
Well,
because I think that he's a character that's really got potential. Liam McShane is a really, really strong actor, and he's been back on the show for 5 years now, maybe, and I think he's been really super underused. And I like the Dylan and Sean relationship, so I'm a little bit sad that I'm kind of hoping that this is the end of him. For you've started something, you better finish it, Coronation Street.
And I know that there was a very good interview with Sydney Martin and Duncan Lindsay interviewed her for the Metro today, and lots of people have been talking about that and showing extracts of that.
I've not seen this.
I've only seen the extracts. Very good interview. And she said that the one thing that Coronation Street wants it to be very clear is there's no villains in this story. And that's their intention. And this won't be the first time that I've disagreed with somebody's in the show and how they want to portray something. I think we all felt the same way about that beautiful erotic summer fling that was with
Ardy and
Courtney, where everyone was like, this is grooming and weird predatory behaviour, and it's not a funny, nice romantic fling. It's actually really sinister and gross.
I don't think that Corrie was showing it as being romantic. They were trying to say it's raunchy.
They were saying it's steamy and hot.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Yeah.
Again, normalising grooming and weird behaviour. And Sydney is a very sweet, lovely girl. I'm sure that she and everybody with the best of intentions trying to. I think what it is they're trying to approach this from a softly, no kink shaming. Everything's normal. What was that show with that Anna Ryder Richardson?
That was her name? Sex education show on Channel 4.
It's all normal. That's okay. I'm happy to be like, no, Dylan's the villain here. Dylan the villain. Lock him up. 5 years minimum.
I mean, it rhymes, doesn't it? It's perfect.
Chop his balls off.
Make
an example of him.
I don't want to fight with you about this, but I don't feel as strongly about you about it. But I am still saying
you're on the list of sinister people that are perverted and should be watched closely.
I feel really bad for him that he has been groomed by what he watches. Presumably, I mean, it's not being made clear yet in the show that that's what it is. But
why is everyone jumping in to feel sorry for Dylan? I'm so bored of this.
I think it's a shame that that's happened to him, but just because you've watched that doesn't mean you have to do it. I think he needs to deserve. He needs to get some consequence. He needs to face justice.
It's just this constant excusing of like really horrible behaviour from men.
I can't understand why he would do it, but.
Why do we have to always make excuses and feel sorry for the perpetrator?
We're just too
it's
nice,
just
aren't
really
we?
Don't this be kind stuff I've said for years. Hashtag be kind can get in the bin, because being nice and kind makes women vulnerable and we're preyed upon by people who take advantage. Don't be nice and kind. Stand up for yourself. Be assertive. Say you don't want it.
Spray them in the face with mace.
Chop their balls off.
Right,
Thursday.
Thursday's episode. We got Betsy trying to look at herself in a hand mirror for a bit, but Lisa takes it away and says, "No, don't worry about it. You're beautiful. This isn't going to go on forever. You're going to get through this, etc., etc." Ryan comes in and shows Betsy some nice little pictures of Connie while Carla and Lisa have another little cry together.
Leave her alone. What, is she not suffered enough?
Who?
She's like, not this story again.
Connie? Thought that was done and over with.
I thought that was just for the photos.
Lisa's saying that I'm going to go and go down to the station today and drop Dylan right in it. And Betsy's like, no, don't. But Lisa says she has to. And I am 100% on Lisa's side here. Yes, she does have to. And it would be a massive oversight and a bit of a failing as a mother if she didn't go and report him at the police station for this.
I'm not entirely sure whether she's not obliged to do this. I think it would be very... if there isn't a law, I'd be surprised.
You said about the other hospital staff obliged to
I think that
things.
if they're not, they bloody should be. If a girl goes, oh yeah, I remember when I got strangled. It was when my boyfriend strangled me the other day. I think that they should be required legally.
I can't remember. It would... I can't believe that wouldn't be the case.
Do you not think that if everybody knew, I didn't know, nobody knew, nobody knew, how could we have known? I didn't know it caused a stroke. Now everybody knows, and if you knew that you would go to prison for 5 years, and it wouldn't matter what your girlfriend said, and it wouldn't matter if she said it was fine, because you would get reported and by people who were legally required to make sure that you were reported to the police. Do you not think that this would clear up in about, I don't know, a year?
Well,
do we?
That's
how many
the
women,
idea of raising awareness, isn't it? That's what Corrie's doing.
Yeah, you can raise awareness, but you can still have people going, "Oh, it's okay." No, it's not okay.
This can happen to you. Why
how
would
many
you take a
more
risk?
girls like Betsy need to end up in hospital?
Yeah.
Before we just crack down and
But
say,
anyway,
no, there's no excuse. Not poor Dylan.
It had to be Lisa who went and reported her because it made for a much
Him.
more... It made for a
More
much
dramatic
more
angle.
dramatic shot at the end of Thursday's episode than that rando doctor going up to the police station.
That doctor just goes to her room and goes, I don't know what the point of any of this is anymore. You know, it must be really hard to watch people be so self-destructive in such a blasé way. People keep using the word innocent. I think naive is a better word.
Yeah, it is. It's naivety. This is the first time we see Sean after this. He's with Dylan outside of Sweet Enough and checking he's all right, because Sean knows what's happened to Betsy, but he obviously at this stage doesn't know Dylan's involvement in it. And Sean says, look, we can go to the hospital together later if you want. And Dylan's like, no, she needs her family there, not us. So he knows he can't hide forever what's happened from his dad, but for the time being.
Here we go, right? Duplicitous behaviour already, hiding things, sneaking around, lying.
He's just embarrassed about it.
Should be.
He's putting off. We've all done things that we know are going to get.
I've never strangled somebody.
I know you haven't.
And put them in hospital.
We've all done things where we thought, someone's going to find out about this, but I'm going to put off that moment as long as I can.
Yeah, but this is if you're going to have a column of we feel sorry for Dylan and we don't feel sorry for Dylan. Dylan the villain. Dylan, the misunderstood, sad, misguided boy. This is a tick in the villain column because he knows he's been accused of something and he's trying to stop his dad from finding out.
Oh, this is the bit after this scene when we get to find out the names of the conditions that Betsy's suffering from. So the doctor's saying the stroke's called aphasia. That's the word things, the speech and language part of the brain that's been affected, and dysarthria. Okay, so that's the one that's made her affected the right hand side of her body, so she can't move her arms and whatever from there. And Carla is at this time kind of being very practical, and she's a planner and she wants to know things. She wants to set this out as a timeline in her head and saying, well, how long until we see the old Betsy back? Interestingly, they did say pretty rapid, but they didn't say how rapid, and I was actually quite surprised that they've said pretty rapid. I thought that this might be it's gonna go on for a long time. This is gonna be a Debbie Webster. It's gonna be many years for recovery, or a Paul. We're gonna, that sort of length. But I don't know what they mean by pretty rapid. Is she gonna be like skipping down the cobbles by the end of summer?
Hear that as well.
I'm pleased for Betsy, but also it makes me think. Are people gonna say, "I'll still keep on doing it because even if I have a stroke, it's only gonna put me in hospital for a few months"? Like some people would say that. Anyway, everyone's different, they're told. Every chance of a full recovery, though, they're relieved. So I wonder whether there is going to be any long-term health conditions. I kind of, in a way that I think it'd be nice if there was, because she needs this reminder that don't be an idiot. But also, it's like, I don't need another character to have a long-standing health issue,
This would
please.
be, again, this is the glorious buffet where we're full and we don't want any more food, and then Coronation Street keeps trying to give us sausage rolls. If we'd started off with Betsy having a stroke and we hadn't had, Toyas have her ovaries hooked out, and Bethany's got a stoma and Paul's died and
Debbie's got dementia.
If we only had one of those things, we'd be like, oh, what a lovely sausage roll. But now it's like, this, I've got to freeze this because there's too many and I don't want it now.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
I'm sure that it was just a few weeks ago I was saying, we've not had as many medical and police stories recently. Well, medical at least.
And just to be clear,
it's like, hold your horses.
Apart from the Toya one, which I think was really badly done, I think that these are all fantastic and interesting, very sad I hate medical storylines, but these have all been actually really interesting. I'm not sure about the Bethany one.
Bethany's one had to be shortened because of Lucy Fallon's maternity leave. I think they would have played that out for longer.
Yeah,
but you're right that
they're all
doesn't
worthy
seem to have been.
in their own right, and I know that there are people who've written in who've had experience of strokes.
We've also got obviously Sam's schizophrenia, which is still ongoing at the moment. It's not physical, the ailment, it's mental, but it's still just
it's still
as important.
It's still a health
and
issue.
health related as the other ones that we were talking about. But yeah, it's a little draining. Anyway, Lisa's in Roy's.
It makes you sound callous, doesn't it?
It does.
When we're saying this, here we go. It makes you sound callous, and it does. It's like I've got issues, fatigue. I'm trying not to.
It's like, can you imagine a doctor at the hospital getting the test results and going, "Oh, great."
a well-known phenomena with people get compassion fatigue.
Yeah, totally.
But you should kind of expect it when you work in a hospital. I'm just going to say it shouldn't come surprise you.
I thought my job would just be
Another
telling
sick
people they're
person?
absolutely fine.
Oh, they're such a drag.
It's benign.
I was moaning.
I thought I'd become a vet because I just got to cuddle animals.
I
and
became
maybe
a
clip
vet
their toenails or
because
claws every so often.
I became a vet because I was a doctor and I was fed up with the moaning.
Lisa's in Roy's later, and Lauren's there too, asking after Betsy. And she says, "I'm really sorry about what's happened." Kate Vitton's been doing a great job this week as well.
I loved her. Lauren.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you did in today's episode.
Get her, mummy. Go on.
Brody says, "Is she up for visitors? Maybe tomorrow." And this is when Sean and Dylan happen to walk in and say hello.
They're going, ha, ha, ha,
they're looking at something on the phone, aren't they? Looking at some meme.
Probably some porn.
No, they're probably just
horrible.
They're probably watching the Walk for Webster video. That was quite the bit where I fall asleep in front of Coronation Street. That was quite.
I hope they hype it.
And Lisa's. It's a very obvious thing to do, isn't it? Lisa going, "How can you laugh at a time like this? I'm glad you can smile. Has he told you yet?" No, of course he hasn't. And Sean's like, "Tell me what?" And straight away he's defensive, isn't he?
Who?
He's like, Sean is. He's like, he doesn't turn and say,
"What? Kid's been attacked."
No. He's Sorry, not defensive. That's the wrong word. He's saying what he says. What have you done to Dylan at first? He's like, he says, "Tell me what's going on here?" And then Lisa says he assaulted Betsy during sex, just for the whole building to hear.
This is the second. There are two instances where everybody gets told this, and again, how cringe for I would rather you let me die than tell anybody what is wrong with me if this is what
But I love this. It's
like screaming her business across the entire cafe so everyone knows. Of course, you have to do it on Coronation Street because then all the characters find out.
I really like Sean's reaction afterwards, though, because he's initially like, "What have you done?" But then when she brings out this huge thing, he's like, "What? This is much bigger than I imagine." And he feels that his son's being attacked. And he's like, "Back off, Lisa." He does like a show, talk to the hand kind of thing, doesn't he? And I love angry Sean like that. He's like, "That's one hell of an accusation." And I would say at the moment, possibly good on Sean, because what's the evidence here? You're making a huge claim about my son here, so you want your dad on your side.
Yeah, but
during
if this is the first time you've heard of it, you'd be like, what are you talking? How would this be? How I found out?
Yeah, exactly. And I think very brave of Sean to be standing up to Lisa, who's like
her boss. It's his boss's wife.
Yeah, it's his boss's wife, and she's a copper. She's well known for being quite hard-faced, isn't she, Lisa? But Sean is like, "Whoa there!" And Lisa says, "Dylan has had his filthy, swordy little hands around my daughter's neck, nearly strangled her."
Didn't nearly strangle her. Did strangle her.
Strangled her. And
I don't know what she actually said.
I think she says nearly.
Well.
And Dylan rushes out, followed by Sean. And so...
I've seen the phrase non-fatal strangulation.
That's what it was.
Well, I don't know.
So Friday...
I don't think there's a really good word.
Was there another scene on there that I've maybe put in the notes somewhere else? I don't remember, but we've been talking about this storyline for quite a while at this point anyway, so forgive me if I miss a scene. Friday, so Dylan's leaving a message to Betsy and saying, "I'll come and visit you later." So he's still...
No.
He's in denial in today's episode that what he did could have caused it.
Right, this is frustrating to me.
Go for it, Gemma.
Because he's got a little phone in his pocket that showed him what all the porn to begin with. He can't use that for Google and go, just double check here. Is it possible? Like, you wouldn't... There's no question. I find it very hard to believe. There's no question in it. There's no possible room for doubt. I think that they're doing this for plausible deniability to try to make us think Dylan's too good of a guy to even consider it's possible. But he was told it was his fault, and he is not even bothering to just do a double check. Just double check.
It's because he doesn't want it to be true. I do wonder whether he's... There is a bit of none of he's being naive about it, but I think there is also like, I don't want this to be me. This is terrible. I've done this to the girl that I love.
I don't know how people are watching it if it's illegal in this country, and they've got all these what filters. They like. You can't even look at Imager on Reddit anymore because it's blocked me from that. I don't miss anything else. That's the only thing I care about. Not being able to see Imager, but like. I think that porn sites should be forced, but the thing is that loads of them are dirty, underhanded buggers anyway, and they don't follow laws as it is. They should be forced to put a warning sign on all of these videos saying this can cause death. There's no safe way to do this.
Yeah.
I don't mind people having fantasies.
Because a lot of the sites are based in the US, isn't it?
I don't mind people having fantasies. I don't okay, whatever. Have a fantasy. Have a fantasy about the most depraved thing you can possibly think of. It doesn't bother me. Don't do it to people. What's next? Like buying medieval maces and swinging them around into people's faces just to see how sexy that is.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
sorry, I'm not being cool about this.
Dylan gets stopped by, what's the DC called? DC McLaughlin or something? I like her. I think that she's a fiery one. I think she's a bit of a firecracker. And when she was the one, I think, that was telling Kit, "You're off the case, Kit. You shouldn't be rooting around in Lisa's drawers." I'm like, yeah, you tell him. So I want to see a bit more of her. Anyway, she comes and takes Dylan in for questioning because this allegation of assault has been made against him. Lauren and Brody are talking about it all later. Brody's kind of wondering if something else might have caused the stroke. Lauren doesn't think so. It is interesting that Lauren, the girl, is on Betsy's side and saying
Lauren is a victim of male violence.
Yes,
that
exactly.
was sexualised, and she, more than anybody, knows that these fantasies, all very well and good in your head, but when you play them out on people, it's pain. She was degraded. This
Joel was absolutely vile to her.
During sex is degrading to women. That, I'm sorry again, I'm not cool and like the fun one about it, but go to that website that I said, we can't consent to this, and actually look at what people are saying about it, because I think if you're in a bubble of acceptance and happiness and be kind and
everything's okay,
let's all like not kink shame, you're in an echo chamber where you're not being people are too scared to say that they think this is wrong. People get shouted down on Twitter even about saying actually that this isn't cool and fun, as whatever. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That it's degrading, and that is exactly literally what happened to Lauren. She was degraded and debased and beaten and abused by a guy, and she's got no time for it from anybody else, for her friend who is so sweet and caring and lovely.
Yeah. Whereas Brody, the horrible guy, is saying, maybe it wasn't Dylan, maybe it was something else.
Well, he doesn't have he's never been attacked during sex like Lauren has and Betsy has.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I think what people are thinking is that was Brody the one that introduced Dylan to the videos as well.
Sadly, I don't know that it's necessarily even. I've read so many statistics today about a million different things. I'm not sure all of them are actually that useful. I think that some of the stuff is the people self-select for these surveys, which means that you're probably going to get higher prevalence of people saying and reporting behaviours that actually aren't that common. Because I'm not going to answer a questionnaire about strangulation during sex. You're never going to get me on that, so you're not going to know. I'm not going to be part of the people that reply and say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not going to answer the question.
Yeah.
But I read something like 60% was introduced through porn, and then it's other people telling you. or seeing it on social media,
Right,
or
right.
like those kind of choke me daddy kind of little cutesy memes of silly nonsense.
The other stat that's been banded about this week has been the whole less pressure than it takes to open a can of Coke, hasn't it? And the surprise that's all it takes. But again, I don't understand the surprise by it.
That's quite a lot of pressure. There's no safe way to do it. But I also think you probably don't realise how hard you're doing it.
When I'm
see how
pulling
you
a
can
ring
know.
pull, it's like it's a bit of.
You can't do it. Try and do it quietly. Try and do it because we have to do it for the cat. Like,
She hates ring pulls.
She hates it. So we try to do it quietly. It takes quite a lot of effort. But that's not to say that you can do it gently. You can't do it gently. There's no safe way of doing it.
Well, I chat GPT today, and it said it's between 10 and 20 newtons of force to pull a ring pull, which it says isn't much. It says it's like pushing a clothes peg, pushing a ballpoint pen, but it still doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise.
If I squeezed your neck and you crapped yourself and had a stroke, I wouldn't go, gosh.
Because
strange.
Even Dylan in this, what was the language that he uses when he's talking to Sean about it? That was just little squeeze. I think he says, doesn't it?
That's disgusting. He should be locked up for 5 years.
Right. Lauren's at the hospital
squeeze.
later.
Just a little squeeze, and she's in a hospital bed now. Was it worth it?
But it was.
I'm not going to be cool about it.
It's not squeezing a good part. There are plenty of things to
you can
squeeze
all kinds of
in
bits.
the bedroom that are okay.
There are lots of bitsy bobsies to have a little squeeze on.
Yep.
There wasn't a Carry On Strangling movie, was there?
Oh my gosh. There was Carry On Screaming though, wasn't there?
Was there?
I think that was like I don't think I've ever seen a Carry On movie in total. Anyway, Lisa and Lauren are at the hospital later, and they're both finding it all very emotional, as you can imagine. And then Dylan walks in, who gets snarled at by Lauren. I think Lisa's gone back inside the room at this point with Betsy, and Dylan's like, I didn't call it. This wasn't me. I love her. I wouldn't do this. He's not saying that he didn't strangle her. He's saying that these injuries, these symptoms that she's showing, are not directly to do with what I've done. He's totally in denial about it. And Lauren says, "You don't know what love is," and accuses him of not stopping when Betsy told him to, which is interesting because I don't think that nothing Betsy has said at the moment is "I told him to stop," is it? That seems to be something that Lauren has made up for herself.
Grabbed an idea and run away with it, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And I know lots of people really hate her for this, but I completely sympathise with her because of her experiences with...
Yeah, Joel didn't stop when she told him to, so I think she's got this idea in her head.
She's projecting, and this is, what we're all doing. Everyone listening to this has got an opinion about what I've said, whether you agree with me or not. Your life experience has brought you to your opinion of that, which is completely valid. And I totally understand people are going to disagree with me, and they're going to say what I'm saying is wrong and harmful, and that I'm terrible. And okay, that's completely fine and valid because that's your opinion based on your life experience. I don't necessarily need to hear it, but Lauren has been brought to this, and she's behaving in quite a destructive way for Betsy. But I'm just loving the vengeance of it, so I'm all for her causing. I don't like the pain that Betsy's going through, the emotional pain that she's going through with missing Dylan and feeling sad, and that's the heartbreaking element of this, that she loves him. I don't feel bad for him at all, and I think I'd love to see Lauren kick him about a bit more.
Right, so what was I saying? Sean finds out later, rushes off. Betsy wakes up and Lauren and Lisa there. They're saying that Dylan hasn't been, so Lauren is lying to Betsy and making out that Dylan clearly doesn't care about her, which is kind of makes Betsy a little bit upsetsy. And Lisa is also saying, well, you need to take responsibility for what he's done. So yeah, Lauren is stirring the pot a little bit more here.
There's also a kind of Shakespearean element of misunderstandings as well.
Get Evil Roy in
to
narrate that, please.
But you know what I mean? Like, so I can't remember what happened, but somebody said something and somebody else, like Brody, was kind of passing on something. Like, and when Lauren told Betsy that that Brody had been in the that
Dylan
had been in the pub saying everyone that she had slept around, it wasn't exactly what happened.
No, it was more Sean going in.
But you see what I mean? It is that very Shakespearean kind of comedy, as in the genre, not the fact that it's funny.
Yeah.
Misunderstood, like comedy of errors kind of thing.
We see Sean eventually finding Dylan later, and Sean puts the idea in his head, because he just can't believe that his darling precious son would engage in such depravity, that maybe Betsy was cheating on somebody.
No,
cheating on Dylan with somebody.
Yeah, he knows that Dylan did it.
Oh, sorry, you're right. But he doesn't want to believe that what Dylan did was so hard or whatever that it's caused her to have this stroke. Or
Lots of
these
people
strokes.
really hate Sean for this. But again, this is one of those. Again, this is a misunderstanding based in ignorance, because he doesn't actually know and hasn't researched.
No, he's not had the chance to, really, has he?
He's got less responsibility to find this out than Dylan has, but they both kind of have a bit more responsibility than taking on. But he's under the misapprehension that if it didn't happen immediately, it can't have been harmful. And so I understand him defending him and going, like he literally said, it's logical. It's logical that somebody else did it. There. But do you know what the crazy part of it is that everyone's just going, oh yeah, it's totally normal. She probably slept with somebody else who strangled her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or, yeah, exactly. And Sean saying, oh, what if it was Brody? So that puts the idea in Dylan's head, and they go marching into the pub, Sean and Dylan, cause a bit of a scene in front of Lauren about it.
Make a poor extra spit her wine out.
Oh yeah, that extra in the background.
Great.
Well done. We saw you. We noticed.
Again,
you.
Everybody in the pub now knows.
Yep. This is so embarrassing for Betsy. I don't know. I mean, I guess she doesn't want the whole world to know about it, but it's one of these things that's probably going to be difficult to avoid.
You can't say it's embarrassing for Betsy, but you can say, if that was me, I would be embarrassed, because you don't know what Betsy actually thinks, but you assume that she doesn't want to take an advert out in the Gazette or anything.
No. Anyway, Lauren ends up barring both of them, which I thought was quite funny when Sean's like, I work here.
Yeah.
I think it's almost a shame that we didn't see, I want to know what Maggie thinks about this.
Oh my God.
I really...
She probably thinks that they should be more Catholic, and this wouldn't happen.
I think Maggie's reaction of, he was doing what?
In the bedroom?
Yeah, although maybe it would...
Maybe
her reaction would take away from the serious drama of it.
Maybe when she pushed Alan down the stairs, it was just a kink.
Yeah, maybe that's her thing. No, I kind of miss the Driscolls. When there's an episode when the Driscolls aren't in it at the moment, I'm saying, where's the Driscolls? So I would like to I'm interested.
They're having a break. I
think
they're quite right to have no part of this.
Anyway, so Brody's back with Betsy later. Talking about how his dad used to rough his mum up, and they all had to pretend to be normal about it. And he gives her a...
No, this was great. You're brushing over this.
Oh, go on then.
But he was just being very heartfelt about, about his bad experiences and how you have to put a brave face on things. And then he gives her a sunflower because they're not allowed real flowers.
Oh yeah, it was a fake flower, wasn't it? Yeah.
And this is when she says she won't make a statement against Dylan, and he says to her, "It's your life. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's
your decision." He's really lovely.
Yeah.
And if I find out what he's been up to, I'm not gonna rule him out for being put in prison too.
And this is when he rushes off to sort. So but this is when Lauren comes in, and says that Dylan's been telling everyone that Brody has been having it off with Betsy.
Well, it's not just that he's been having it off with her, it's that he's the one who strangled her.
Caused this to happen.
Which is weird because she would have... Why would she blame it on...
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's definitely some notes that I've missed here. They will come up later, because I just realised that I didn't have the note about Lisa appearing at the police station at the end of Thursday's episode, which definitely happened. Was that the end of this story? Oh, I'm so bad at jumbling up my notes sometimes. I do apologise, but we've been talking about this story for 2 hours now, which is probably one of the longest we've ever talked about any stories.
Yeah, she is.
See, look, here's... I popped it at the end of the Sarah Louise story. So there was a bit on Thursday's episode, where Sean finds out about it, and Sean says that she can't consent when you got your hands round her neck, and Dylan says, "Oh, we talk about it before," and Sean just can't take all this in. So I did miss that quite important bit. I'm just having a look. Have I missed any other bits? I think I'm probably okay, and we're ready to move on to another story. Unless, is there anything else that we want to talk about this little tale of strangling? Any other final points to make, or have we made our thoughts and opinions on this crystal clear? Checking your notes. Do you think that there's any risk that by bringing this issue into the public eye and raising awareness of it, Corrie's inadvertently going to get other people to experiment with it?
This is why I keep saying I don't want us to say, oh, some people like it. It's, no. Does it, like I said, you can like heroin as well, but we're not going to sit around going it's okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, are people going to watch this and say, I've not heard of this before, but if everyone's doing it, then I'm going to try it?
I can't help but think of what our mums always told us, that if everyone jumped off a bridge, would you do it? If you watch this and you come away with it, with the idea that you're going to do it, there's no helping you.
The thing is, I've seen people online this week saying, I'm not doing that again, or there's no way I'm doing that. So it's already potentially done the job that it wanted to do.
It's really sad that people were not realising that. And some people probably already have some kind of brain damage from it. It's almost certain.
I was also kind of thinking on Tuesday when I was feeling very grumpy about being spoiled that is, and should Corrie even do this story? I was thinking, is Corrie got people watching that are the ones that need to hear this? How many people in the 16 to 34-year-old bracket are going to be watching this?
Well, I can't remember who it was.
But then I think of it at the time, I didn't. I don't know who I thought was doing it, because I think that was before I actually saw that stat. So I was like, a 16, 17-year-olds, the very easily influenced people going to be watching this, but I mean, it's not. This clearly isn't something that's only for older teenagers.
I think that somebody said that even if people aren't watching the whole episode, they're watching clips and TikToks and reactions, and this has caused so much discussion.
Yeah, this has been a huge talking point this week.
Everyone's talking about it, and so I think you can't really. I mean, this might end up being one of the most influential storylines since maybe even Hayley's gender recognition.
I would say that the knife crime story had a similar reach. Lots of people were brought into the show by the discussion of knife crimes. Everybody loved Liam, didn't they? And on TikTok, where we're getting, at the moment, some people are only watching the show for Swala. Back then, lots of people were just watching the clips with Dylan and Liam and Mason. And I think that, hopefully, did do some good, and I'm not saying that knife crime is solved, but I think that made a point. But you're right that this is definitely up there, and I think that this is going to have some big impact.
But can I say that I think that if you did a survey of 16 or what is it, 18 to 34-year-olds, and you went, how many of you have had a little bit of knife crime?
How many of you are carried a knife?
How many of you have had a little go at knife crime?
It's not going to be 55%.
It wouldn't be 55%. I think this is going to be bigger than that, because I think that, judging by the shocked reactions, this is something that people needed to hear.
And there'll be some people, obviously, that won't be convinced, or some people will forget and they'll say, oh, it's just Corrie.
Well, they'll say, it's just fine, it's fine.
If
like
it
drinking
stops
or smoking.
and saves, exactly. People know the dangers of smoking, but some people still do it. If it stops or saves some people, it's done a job.
But just to be clear, it's not the same risk factor as smoking or drinking. It is magnitudes of more dangerous. There's like, you shouldn't smoke, but you're not going to die if you have one cigarette. If you this happens to you once, you could have a stroke and you end up in hospital. There's no knowing, and you might end up with like, I saw a woman said that she had like brain fog for 2 years.
Well, after the strangulation, yeah.
I think this is going to be bigger than than lots of stories. I think this is, and
it's interesting because we were just doing our review of the first 6 months of the year a few weeks ago, weren't we? And we're saying, oh, what does the second half of 2024, what's that looking like? This murder storyline is seeming to be on its last legs, and some of the other big stories, the big hitters of the first 6 months, are feeling like they're winding down. The grooming storyline, it feels like this is going to be the big thing that takes us into the second half of the year.
I really don't want to ever talk about this again.
We've got a podcast next week, but at least we know, because of the blocks filming, Gemma, there will be some weeks where we don't even have to refer to it. So look forward to that at least. Should we talk about some of the other stories? Should we move on? Let's do a bit of murder, Gemma.
Now.
You love the Sarah Lou's story, and Kit being a good little husband to be to her.
Do you know what? I said that to you, didn't I?
You did.
I know he's up to something. He's definitely up to something, and Sarah is not going to like what it is that he's doing. And I think this is a part of this is an act. But if you take that out of consideration, he's the best best male partner of anybody on the street. This guy. That scene today where Sarah comes in and he's like, how's Harry? Does he like fish? I've made him dinner. I'm thinking about his football or whatever, and I've run you a bath. That's more than most of the men on the street have ever done for anybody in one scene.
Unless they're trying to get something out of her.
Unless they're trying to strangle you. In which case they'll say all kinds of nice things. Make you a goodie bag.
Kit is clearly doing some underhand dodgy stuff, isn't he? So maybe he's overcompensating. But yeah, as the podcast's resident Kit,
hater.
Not like her.
Yeah.
I also thought, yeah, you're doing a good job there, Kit. Well done.
And a man who can cook.
I know. Better than me, isn't he?
I mean, Dylan can cook, but he's also going to be in prison soon, so he's going to be cooking hooch. Right, so on Monday, you don't cook meth in prison, darling.
Don't you?
No, you don't. They kind of don't like it.
Not even in secret.
I think you can do it in secret. On Monday, Kit comes to see Lisa at home and says, look, I'm really sure that Gary is lying and that he was the murderer. And Lisa says, even if he's lying about something, it doesn't mean that he is a murderer. It could just be that he could be lying about who attacked Sarah, and you need to just focus on her at the moment. Yeah, because he's not on the case and he's getting agitated.
Yeah, he wants to get in there and find out.
Yeah, and Maria's still,
because he doesn't know at this point, does he? This has been a big week for revelations. It was this week when Sarah confesses to him, "It was me who done it."
Is it? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah,
and we didn't know that was happening this week either. I didn't know. Maybe
this was
you
great.
Knew, you synopsis readers out there, but that really was like, whoa, okay. I thought Kit would not find this out at least yet.
Yeah, Maria is still mad at Gary, and then eventually Sarah finds her in Seb's garden, and she's really upset, saying, this is just affecting everything, and we're not getting on. The boys are upset. I'm upset, and Gary, she's saying, why can't Gary put his family first? And he's sneaking around watching while this is happening, feeling guilty.
I like it's not the same level at all as the Dylan stuff, but I'm struggling over whether I'm feeling sorry for Gary or not, because he is really leading Maria. He's deceiving her, isn't he? He's hiding some really important stuff from her. But equally, I feel bad for him that he's got caught up in this whole mess.
Because I think he thinks he's actually being upfront with her, because he told her, I know there's something I can't tell you for your own good. Yeah. He is actually correct in that she should really know about this, but it would have been better if he hadn't done it.
Does he it's interesting because Sarah confessed to Kit. She must trust him enough to confess to him, but does that mean that Gary doesn't trust Maria, even though, they've been married for 5 years now, 6 years?
What's the question?
It's not a question, it's just kind of pointing out that Sarah seems to trust Kit more than Gary trusts Maria. And I would say that the Gary-Maria relationship is more solid.
I don't know if that's true.
Or was it when Sarah confesses this week, she's just doing it out of desperation because she can't keep hold of the guilt inside her any longer, and she's like, well...
Don't know.
Lock me up then, Kit.
This is also really interesting because I'm treating this as just a soap storyline, and so
This
my
isn't serious at
reactions
all.
is my reactions to things of what people do and how serious it is completely inconsistent across
This
the
is
board.
not an issues-based storyline.
I'm not here like I'm finding all of this brilliant and hilarious.
And
I'm
juicy.
not there going, oh gosh, I can't believe that Kit would do, and oh the Maria and the ramifications.
The
of
moral
this,
thing to do
like,
here
I don't
is-
care. It's all just brilliant and hilarious. And this is like, it's funny that this murder story is the light relief from the other Betsy having a stroke storyline. But I'm sorry that it is, and so if you're thinking I'm a hypocrite or inconsistent, you're completely correct. And I've always said that all human beings are hypocrites. It's just only whether you recognise it in yourself.
There is a very clear difference between the tone of this story than the Betsy tone. That's fine.
This is all hiding behind corners and texting and phone wiping and
walking in on things.
Yeah, and like secrets and lies and proposals and dinners.
Yeah, little shifty looks in the background.
So, she's having a bit of a breakdown, isn't she? Sarah gets a voice message from Kit saying, "You got to come home. I'm going to make you special lunch." And she's like, "Oh my god, I can't do this." So Gary has to sort of whisk her away and says, "Look, keep your bloody mouth shut. I've done a lot for you. You have to do me a favour, and you have to keep, don't say anything. Just keep it cool, right?" So she goes back to the flat and does completely the opposite. Because Kit's there and he's like, "I'm the best man in the world. I'm so sorry, Sarah, that you've been struggling. I'm going to focus on you. Trust me, be honest, and make sure you get everything you deserve." Goes down on one knee, and that now he's at eye height with her, and proposes. And she's like, "Oh no, I can't. I should have told you from the start."
Was he doing this like?
I'm so suspicious of Kit. He is being manipulative.
Wear down her
he
defences.
He isn't, in fact, the best man on the street, because he's doing a lot of this in a calculated way to put pressure on her, I think, which is quite sinister, really. But it's also hilarious.
He's off the case, isn't he?
He's like,
he's feeling like his wings have been clipped, but he's still got his own little vigilante justice.
But I can do work from home today.
Yeah.
So, she loses it, and she says, "It wasn't Gary. It was me."
That was a proper shocker.
And Kit's like, "What are you talking about?" And Sarah has to admit that Todd knows too, and Gary, and she tells the story. "I was on the scaffolding. Theo was taunting me. I thought he was going to kill me. And then Gary helped me to sort, to hide the evidence."
She doesn't paint a good picture of this as self-defense again, does she? To go back to that.
I think it's quite... I do think you wrote down exactly what she said, which is that I thought he was going to kill me, which is very different from saying he was going to kill me. There's distancing language in there, which is, I think, a psychological... I mean, she's not real. This isn't real script writing. So, again, that psychological distancing of the plausible... I thought, maybe it wasn't the case, but as long as I thought that was the case...
That's changed from the night, hasn't it? As it probably would if you're in this weird situation. You'd be trying to defend yourself or trying to make out, look, have I got an excuse here? On the night, she was like, he wasn't even coming at me.
She knows.
But if she can
did.
Convince herself that she thought he was going to kill her.
Everything she's done, and every time she's spoken about it, it becomes more and more apparent to me that she knows exactly what happened, and it wasn't self-defense.
Yeah, I love how Kit's reaction was just like, "You called Gary and not me." That's what he's maddest about, isn't he?
He was really mad about this, and he's like, she says, "I couldn't call you because of your job." And then she starts on that Theo was abusing Todd, and Kit's like, "It doesn't mean anything. You can't just kill people."
Yeah, because somebody else was doing that.
She's like, "Yeah, but you can kill a man. You can kill a man.
They could have
it's not the same as killing a lady."
I wonder whether it was... I wonder if it was ever discussed that this consensual strangulation could have been part of the Theo and Todd story, because it would have fit right in there, wouldn't it? With him being the dominant one, him being aggressive, him being violent, Todd thinking he's consenting to it, or Todd agreeing to it because he wants to please Theo.
Yeah, but it's a completely different issue than the widespread major one that's...
Oh, I know.
The biggest problem.
But they could have, if they'd wanted to, have like Todd appearing in one episode with marks around his neck.
I understand what you're saying.
And everyone saying, "What on earth? He choked you." And he's like, "No, don't worry about it. No, I asked him to."
I get what you're saying, but it's not the issue that is more important, and it wouldn't have had the same effect.
No, I know.
Because
I totally
all the girls
agree.
watching it wouldn't have gone, that relates to me.
No, I totally agree, but I just wonder whether that was ever floated as a, should we do this? And then somebody went, no, but what if we do it with another character and we can do it differently?
And it is very frustrating that, you know, I mean, this hasn't been around for a very long time. It's very difficult to do research on this. It's not very obvious what's, you know, you have to ask people directly. You have to hope they're going to be honest. There's not really very much information about the prevalence of this behaviour in gay couples.
No.
It's mostly about, and you know, I understand that there's a broader issue, but the only things that I was focused on were the same situation as Betsy and Dylan when I was looking at stuff. And like I said, the data's not available really to extrapolate further. So I didn't.
Fair enough.
I didn't go around doing surveys.
You've done a lot of good work.
Because
This
if
week,
I did,
Gemma.
the way
don't
people
undersell
ask,
yourself.
I'd be like, "Oh, did you? Oh, well, I'm writing that down." Okay, right. So, he's just can't believe what's going on. He's kind of jealous. He's jealous that Gary was involved.
Yeah, he storms out, doesn't he? He's like, you called Gary Windass and not me.
She has a Lady Macbeth moment when she says, "I see the blood all the time." And then she goes off to be sick. And then she comes back and he starts to help her craft her defence, which is, you must have been terrified up there on the scaffolding. You just made a bad decision. I see this all the time in my job. He's
still mad though, isn't he? Because this is when he does storm out.
Yeah.
But you're right, it's maybe the beginnings of showing that
he's calculating
not going
can I get Sarah out of this.
Yeah.
So she says, "I needed someone to trust with my life," and Gary says, he says, "You called Gary," and then he huffs off.
Yeah.
How unsupportive. So he comes back on Wednesday and he's just been ignoring her phone calls. And it looks like he's not going to tell anybody what she did. But he says it's only going to be a matter of time before somebody figures it out. I want Gary to take the fall for this, so that there's no way that it can come back on you. He's like, this is not going to be over until somebody's caught for it, and we can set Gary up, and then you'll be free.
This, you know, I'm not the biggest Kit supporter, and I'm like, oh, but he's a wrong un. He's bent copper. Doesn't he not get dragged in and thrown in jail himself for this? Oh, it really makes me mad. But I think this is probably one of the first times when I'm in like going, oh, this is exciting what Kit's doing. He is really massively risking his career here, and I don't want Sarah to get away with it as well. I'm conflicted because obviously would love Tina O'Brien to stay in the show forever. I'm kind of mad at the situation that she's been put in. But yeah, this when he was helping her, but he's also got his own agenda to try and cover up the murder. I couldn't help but feel like, oh, this is quite juicy. This is fun.
Yeah, I think that it's fascinating to think that he's been off and thinking about this because he comes back with a plan, and that plan is Gary's going down, and part of it is probably motivated by his jealousy of the fact that he was the port of call for Sarah.
For sure.
So she's like, no way, he helped me out, we've got too much, I owe him too much to do that to him. And then Harry walks in and they have to stop talking. Then Sarah later on, when they're having a conversation, it's like, oh, do I not do that self-defence thing? And Kit's like, no, it's too late for that now.
Yeah, it's like, months have passed.
You should have done it at the time.
You literally let Summer go to prison.
Do you know what, though? I was listening to a podcast about that famous... Is it Fred Durst, the name? The guy, The Jinx, the documentary of The Jinx, where...
I don't know.
I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but other people will. He was an American billionaire heir, and he was caught on camera when he was making a documentary about how he definitely didn't kill anybody, going to the loo and saying, "I killed them all." Literally, that's how he got caught.
Oh, wow.
He went into the bathroom and he was washing his hands going, "I killed them all, of course." And,
Somebody overheard it.
But one of the things he actually went to trial for was he was pretending to be a woman living in some random place, struck up a friend, I'm maybe remembering this wrong, struck up a friendship with somebody that he then murdered, dismembered and threw in the river or something. And they found this man's body, but they never found his head.
Oh.
Right? And so they were like, well, he clearly killed him, but he got away with it because they couldn't prove whether it was self-defense or not because they couldn't find his head.
That's how
So
you do it, innit?
Sarah could probably have got away with it if she just chopped him up and been a billionaire. Have you thought of that, Sarah?
He left him dead, and with his head, he went galumphing back. Been doing the Jabberwocky this week.
Oh, God. She jabberwocked him right off the edge of that scaffolding. Right, so he says, I need to do some digging. I need to find out.
No, I won't quote any more Jabberwocky.
That's fine.
I was about to, but I'm too
We don't
hot
need
and tired.
to. He's going to go and do some
Snicker
digging and find out what Lisa knows. You got to trust me. And she says, oh, are we okay? And he gives her a hug.
Yeah.
A reassuring, tall hug. Gary, Sarah later goes and tells Gary about this. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? Why does Kit know? He hates me. And she says, don't worry. He is on our side. And he's going to steer the investigation in another direction. So he then, in the next episode, gets caught, but it's the same day. We'll watch it. Gets caught when that DC woman finds him rummaging about on Lisa's desk. And he's like, she says, you're not allowed to look at that, remember? You're not allowed. So he goes back to the factory and says, Sarah, let's have a secret conversation about the murder you done in a public place. I couldn't find any evidence, but my colleague said they're close to making an arrest. And she worries that it's going to be Gary that gets arrested because he does look like the guilty party here.
Oh yeah, totally.
And we definitely know that they're onto him about that CCTV and the missing time and all that stuff.
Yeah, but we as viewers are being kept in the dark along with Kit about what evidence they've been able to collect, which has now led the super to say, okay,
we're nearly there.
Arrest away.
It's probably the same sort of secret evidence that Kit found that proved that Megan was actually a paedophile. They actually so secret they didn't actually use it in court.
I think we might find out on Monday. You know,
the judge was like, "Look, I don't need to see the evidence. I don't need to hear it. I think it's better if you just keep it to yourself. I'm going to trust that you've got it." But Sarah's worried here because she says if Gary gets arrested, he's going to drop me in it.
Oh yeah.
So
I would certainly
hope
he would.
So this is the risk here.
But there's nobody else.
It could be.
It's yeah.
This is the risk because they're all wondering, is it going to be Gary? And Gary's going to turn on her.
And the thing is, everybody else has been arrested already. Danielle's been brought in for questioning. George, Christina, all the lineup.
Summer was in prison.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're collecting evidence that proves it was Miles. You never know.
What a twist.
He's like, we've got this evidence here. This Coronation Street podcast, he seems to know what they're talking about. Are adamant it's him. So I think that's enough evidence to get him in.
Anyone who's listened to us would not think we know what we're talking about.
Full shot.
Right, on Thursday, Kit's spent the night on the sofa and he's told Sarah they need to get things moving. And he says, give me your phone. Get Gary to give me your phone. I'm going to get him scrubbed professionally.
Because deleting stuff doesn't do the job, does it?
Gary gets summoned and he comes and he says, I've already wiped my phone. There's no point. And Kit says, no, you need to get this, trust me, forensically done.
I think the way it works, and I know some people know about computers a lot more than I do, but when you delete things and when you then erase your recently deleted files, it totally doesn't delete it off your phone. It just kind of covers them up a little bit. And that's why... And the only way that you can really delete them is if you overwrite the memory with something else. And that's why these tech whizzes can find these things. It's because...
There's a lot of things we don't know.
It deletes them from the user interface, but they're still there.
It's not within their interest to tell us how a lot of this stuff works. Because they also say ring doorbell footage is completely unobtainable if you haven't got a subscription. But they found it in that case of that... Savannah Guthrie's mum who went missing.
Oh, really? Okay.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
And that's why...
I trust you know what you're talking about.
That's why our marriage works, because if we don't know what the other one's talking about, we just agree. So Gary's very suspicious of this, but Sarah convinces him. And Kit says, look, you're going to need all the help I can give you, right? So just give me your phone. So he reluctantly gives it to him. And we also missed a scene where Sean and Dylan...
No, I read that one out.
Oh, okay, right.
Put it in the wrong place.
So on Friday...
Yeah, Thursday's episode was just brilliant. I loved Gary coming round and Kit saying, give me your phone. That was Thursday, wasn't it?
That was Wednesday.
That was when... So, was it? Have we skipped...
No, that was Thursday. That was Thursday. Okay. Now we're on Friday.
That was a Gary... don't trust Kit moment. But equally, I
What
was
would you
watching it
do?
going, oh, is Kit
No,
going to
dumb.
hoodwink?
I'm dumb. I would have given it to him, and then I would have thought, oh God, what have I done? Because I only thought about it on Friday.
Gary's
I was like,
smarter
oh, he
than
should
that.
have done that.
No.
But Sarah, this is Sarah's fault because Sarah convinced him because she trusts Kit.
Yeah.
On Friday, this is when I start thinking. No, before this, Kit's speaking on the phone to this guy, and he says, "Right, before you wipe it, I want a copy of it for me."
Yeah, he's getting his insurance, isn't he?
It's questionable as to whether he's going to double cross him or if he just wants insurance against being double crossed.
What could he find on Gary's phone though? Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be enough to.
Well, it's
protect
something that's
Sarah because
Gary's wiped stuff off there, so he must know there's something on there that shouldn't be on there. And he also look anyway. I don't care.
But
it's all just.
It's not going to be enough to send Gary down.
It will be.
Is Kit playing the long game here, and he's just?
We don't know.
He wants Sarah to
What?
go down for it.
I don't. This is what I don't know. I'm very suspicious of him.
This is the kind of mystery that's exciting when you don't know what a character's thinking. Not like the Jodie stuff. And did you
Where's
notice
she?
we didn't even notice Jodie this week?
No.
This is like, what are you up to, Kit? This is exciting.
So he's
Again, fickle.
Kit gets a phone call from the phone wiper, and again, I don't know what this point of this scene was because it's just the same as earlier where he says, "Give me the information and wipe the phone." Then on the street, we see this
McLaughlin.
yeah, she is.
I think that's her name.
Lisa and Carla are there going, "Oh, life is sad now, but we've got a storyline at least, so that's something to look forward to." And the DC stops her and says, "Oh, I didn't. I wanted to bring this to you so you can see. There's a development in the Theo Silverton case, and I wanted to bring this to you because I thought you might want to make the arrest."
And I also thought that it might be very exciting to have a scene and then you turn around and
Yes.
see Gary walking into
So
the pub.
she opens the document and she looks at the paperwork and then she puts it away and turns around and sees Gary there innocently going, "Oh, I've got to go and see Jake's play," or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
don't forget
just
Jake,
a family
don't
man
forget
with
Jake."
children.
Yeah, the way that this has been written, we're supposed to believe that they've got the evidence for Gary because up until recently the police were all going towards Gary, but the fact that they are saying it's like the equivalent of sliding the paper across the table when you're buying something, isn't it? It's like, we're not going to show you what's on there. So the fact that they're not saying, "Oh, it's Gary," may lead one to think that it is somebody else, i.e. Sarah.
But there's still tension here because if it is Gary, the question is still, is he going to turn on her?
I think if Sarah was sent down for this, yeah, would he say, "You know what?"
What if Gary was sent down for this? Would he dob Sarah in? What are you saying?
No, I'm saying if Sarah was sent out, if this is Sarah's name in the envelope, does Gary say, I can't defend you this anymore"? But I suppose
Of course he does.
The fact, yeah, because he's
You're
still.
on your own, tits. I helped you all look good.
But he knows that if he says, "I know that she did it," he's going to get in trouble as well for
Why would he say that?
keeping it quiet.
Keep your bloody mouth shut. I hope she doesn't say anything.
So
no comment.
would Sarah try and take Gary down?
That's the question, but are they going to double cross each other?
Yeah, he's not done anything as bad as what she's done.
Oh, no spoilers, but this is like the end of that series of The Traitors that time. Where you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Are they going to turn on each other?
Yeah, this is exciting stuff, but it's still couched in the fact that I wish that they hadn't made Sarah a killer, and I worry that she's going to get away with it.
Well,
what have you done, Corey?
why are there so many storylines where we're like, oh, I hope they don't go to prison? This year now, we've had Megan, we had Theo should go to prison, we've got now Dylan, and now Sarah or Gary, and that's 5 people.
Yeah. I just want them all to go to prison, the women at least, so they can see Lou in there.
Can't we just set this show in prison now?
Some would say they've already reached that stage. Right, let's whiz. Oh my god, I can't believe how much left we've got. So we got the Tyanna Russ storyline.
This is why there's no time for Jabberwocky.
Which starts off with this football scene, which we would have talked about that. Tyrone's basically this week trying to develop his relationship with Ross, despite Cassie's insistence that he's a horrible guy and
Cassie's
she just wishes he would go away.
Everybody, including Tracy, this guy's wrong and leave him alone.
Yeah, exactly. But so anyway, Tyrone goes off golfing with Ross, comes back with a bad back. This is the paracetamol. Ross goes to the shop to get paracetamol.
Maybe there's going to be a spiking storyline like the Tylenol murders.
Oh, if it is like the Tylenol murders and Tyrone's involved in it, then there's a storyline. Bernie sits down in the cafe with Cassie later. She's seen that something's gone on between her and Steve recently, and Cassie says, "Look, me and him, we've had a bit of a wobble. Someone's holding something over me, and this is all to do with Ross and how
saying, I'm going to tell everybody that you were a lady of the night.
And as we said of the podcast last week, she was young when this happened.
No, she wasn't. She was underage.
Yeah, she doesn't want this coming out.
She was a victim. She was forced.
Yeah. So Cassie at the end of the episode. Oh no, it wasn't that, was it? Because she says to Steve at the end, it's about what happened in the bar the other night, wasn't it? I forgot that. She's got so many secrets, I forget them.
There's two.
She doesn't want Steve to know, but she tells him in the end that I propositioned Ross in the bar later, and Steve is a bit knocked for six for this, and says, well, look, don't leave, just unpack your stuff, don't be silly, I'm not going to let you be bullied by your ex. And she's chuffed that he's forgiven her and gives him a bit of a hug. Wednesday, Steve's kind of sidles up to Ross in the cafe and says, well, Cassie is mine, keep away, I'm not going to be blackmailed by you. And Ross is like, I don't want Cassie, you can have her, I'm not interested, all I want is a relationship with my son. So the Dobbs clan are in the shop later, says Ross there as well, and Hope asks Cassie about her and Steve, has he dumped you or something? Cassie's like, no, we're just great. Hope goes and Ross announces to the world that he and Cassie had an encounter at the hotel last week. And Tyrone's like, oh, that's just typical of my mum. Well, I'm not going to let her ruin this. I want this relationship with you, Dad. And Cassie ends up squaring up to Ross, who's not intimidated one bit by her, and says, back off, or I'm going to tell Tyrone exactly how he was conceived. Because Tyrone knows that she was a sex worker, doesn't he?
At a point in her
life.
Yeah,
he doesn't know that he was conceived during that period.
Yes.
Or
that's what she says on Friday.
Yeah, because he knows how old Cassie is, so he knows she was 15, 16, so that's probably why he would never even think of the fact that she was already on the game, as it were. Being pimped out, basically, as an underage.
Being abused.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's really sad that she doesn't even recognise what's happened to her.
Oh, I know it is. I feel really bad for Cassie this week. Weirdly, and I did not see this storyline going this way whatsoever, in the second half of the episode, which is then set on Wednesday, we learn that Ross has spent the night with Tracy. Shocking twist.
Poor Amy graduated this week, and she's probably...
She barely gets a look in.
Was she the first one to graduate?
I can't remember. I was thinking
maybe
that.
Ken was.
I was quite surprised that she's already reached graduation age. Like, has she been at university that long? Maybe she has. We've just seen so little of Amy that you've got no idea anything about her course. And I challenge any Coronation Street fan listening to tell us, what was her degree in?
I think she did business.
I don't know, maybe it was, but like Amy has been so minimised in the show these past few years. I'm kind of glad that she's got her degree now, because maybe she's going to be back in the show more. Although, is she going to use this degree for anything?
No.
Probably not. I mean, she's still working as a waitress in the cafe, isn't she? But she's literally qualified now. I really, really hope, for her sake, that she gets a story or something where she gets a job that makes use of her degree.
Work from home.
that's the done thing these days, isn't it?
She graduated today. She graduated.
Working from home has been normalised.
It's common.
It's a common thing to do. Anyway, good for you, Tracy. Amy. Even though your graduation story was over and done within about 3 scenes, I appreciate it.
I also think that...
And good job for you for being the first Coronation Street character in a long time to get a degree.
Ken gave her a gift.
Oh yeah, it was a little bangle of Deirdre's, didn't he?
I assume
that was sweet.
The way that they showed it on the screen, I felt bad for not going, oh, it's the famous.
What could he have done? Said, Amy, I've brought you Deirdre's glasses. The
Or
one famous thing about her, of her
he could
accessories.
have gone, this is Deirdre's brooch from episode 3006.
I brought you one of her belts that she was getting quite obsessed
Yeah.
with wearing in the years before she passed away. But no, it was a thing. Nice that Deirdre got a
Or,
shout out. Love
Here
it.
is a packet of cigarettes. It was always her dream that you would take up smoking. Actually,
Yeah, we used to puff these down once you're picking up your certificate.
when he brought it out, I was like, because she made her an ashtray. Because she loves making ashtrays.
Oh yeah, Deirdre did go through a pottery phase, didn't she?
Deirdre just assumed that you would be a smoker when you grew up because everyone was, so she made you an ashtray for your graduation.
I would love to have seen more of that, but yeah, there was no time for Amy in this episode. Sadly, all we're supposed to be interested in is Tracy canoodling with Ross and Cassie being wound up by it. She does try, bless her Cassie, to tell Tracy he's a wrong un, you need to be careful with him, which she was under no obligation to do. But Tracy's like, no, she's literally just doing it because she wants to wind Cassie up, doesn't she? Cassie has been canoodling with Steve, who Tracy, she doesn't fancy him anymore. It's more just a case of he was mine, and this slag who tried to poison my dad has been flaunting their relationship in front of me, so I'm going to take something that she once had. Very Tracy. We find out on Thursday that they've had a second date on the Red Wreck, and I think we're all thankful that we don't go into the detail about what happened there. She tells Amy later that she really does like Ross, but Amy's just grossed out by the whole thing. And then Cassie walks in telling Tracy that she's just seen Ross going into the bistro with a massive bunch of flowers, so clearly he's cheating on you, but no, it's just for fizz. Not much happened there particularly. This story just kind of, it doesn't stand up against the other big stories of the week, does it? I love all the characters that are involved here, bar Ross, but yeah, it's things just happened in this story this week. But maybe it needed a story like this to give us a room to breathe. And then on Friday, it was basically just I did like Tracy squirting red sauce all over the place and delighting in squeezing it all into Cassie's mug of tea. But really, all that it was building up to on Friday was Cassie admitting to Steve that Ross paid her for sex once. A fella that she was seeing was pimped her out, and this is where Tyrone came from. So, yeah, it was the C story of the week. It was fine. Winter Brown stuff, Gemma.
So after we criticised the entire premise of this family, and it's like somebody went through with a checklist and listened to everything we said, because they had the fridge in shot, they had all of the quads in one scene, they had money woes, they had us making sure that we know that Joseph is
definitely goes to
private school, and we even got a Granny Linda shout out.
We did get a Granny Linda shout out. I found this story this week only interesting in that it contained characters that we hadn't seen much of, and I was a little bit disappointed at the end of it where everything seemed to have been solved. Was this just a little 1 week story, or is there more going here? Unfortunately, with my speculation and thought and opinion brain is far too taken up by the other story, and I haven't really given it much headspace this week. But
the other thing on the checklist is a bunch of characters struggling with money issues that is very relatable, but the money they want is for something completely outlandish and unrelatable.
And when they have their money woes, they are
solved instantly.
Easily solved. Like, oh no.
I think there's more to it than this story, but
there's got to be, because
this was just like, if somebody was to cynically write, get ChatGPT to write the most stereotypically cynical, easy to criticise Gemma and Chesney storyline, it would come up with this, which is that they don't have the money for his school fees, and then
they get it,
and that's really it.
It is, isn't it?
He's that's it. I'm not going to say any much more than this because I don't think there is much to it.
There's the bit in the middle where Dev... Oh, no, go on.
Go on, you carry on.
No, I was just going to say there is the bit at the beginning, in the middle, where Joseph has to do his school project for his economics GCSE, and Dev ends up taking over it and
Putting
doing
a
picture of himself doing the thumbs up in the middle, which
There's
is
been
a very
very
Dev
many
move.
funny pictures of Dev in this show. He's just obsessed with pictures of himself.
Yes.
Right, so, Granny Linda is in a spot of bother, cannot afford to pay the £8,000 per term. I assume that means it's 3 lots of a year. For the private school fees anymore, so they're going to have to put him into normal school, or whatever it's called. And Bernie and Dev say, we'll help you. No, Ches comes up with an idea to take a loan out. Gemma's like, this is nonsense. We can't afford it. Then Dev and Bernie say...
Les Battersby money gone now, I can't remember. I think they used up quite a fair bit of it.
Dev and Bernie say, we'll free up some of that Asher on the internet with dodgy pictures money. We'll just let it go. And you can have that. No, they don't. They say they'll take out a loan. Why Dev needs to take out a loan for £8,000, I don't know. But then it ends up that on Friday, Gemma and Chesney are thrilled because they find Granny Linda tells them she will pay for their school fees.
However,
until the GCSEs. But then we find out that actually it was Dev.
Yeah. So Dev is taking out a loan.
Why? Why is Dev taking out a loan? Why doesn't Dev have £8,000?
I've got
Everyone does on this show.
I've got a little thing in my head that maybe there was some money woes with the Alahans last year, but I can't
Oh yeah,
remember
there's
what
always
it
money
was.
woes with everybody, but they also always simultaneously have money for pointless storylines.
What could happen here other than
Well, he's
it's
probably
deceit?
He's probably fine. He's probably sold that brandy that RD over purchased.
It's
Well, that was the money woes, wasn't it?
Yeah. Is Dev going to realise that he can't do it anymore, or are they going to realise that he's bankrolling them and they say, no, you can't do
Well,
it?
they've got this pride thing, don't they, where they won't accept help from anybody, even though they clearly need it.
I kind of still hope that Joseph stays at Oak Hill just because it's a little bit different. I don't want him to just end up at Weddy High like everyone else.
I mean, I'm not even going to get into the ethics of the fact that because Granny Linda bankrolled it, they're going to still send this one child to private school and the rest of them can get stuffed.
Yeah, the quads. Sorry. Bessie Street's good for you.
Couldn't they even think
Good
of
enough for
it's a shame these children aren't identical because they could have saved half of the fees by just sending one in on alternate days.
We had a bit of the Chris Mass shopping story again. Thank you very much for that, Ben. On Thursday and Friday, I couldn't be doing with Mary this week. She's not.
She's
a normal,
right.
She's not a normal person. The way she speaks, the way she treats people, the way she just interacts with. It's just that nobody in real life is like Mary. And I think that Mary used to be a bit more believable character, but she's just not at the moment. And she's obsessing over her chocky crockies.
A lot of people would find it charming when she snatches her chocky crockies off the table and says, reparations are coming.
What does she do? She starts off selling a load of Christina's stuff on an online marketplace with Amy and
Which was
Bethany walking out with a lamp or whatever.
This marketplace was hyper local.
Yeah. Nobody else is interested, just those two. And they have a tussle. There's something about Mary being suspicious of Christina's package earlier, but it turns out that it's just a lint roller from George. But we see later on that Christina has got some notifications on her phone that there are 3 more packages coming, so clearly she has not got over her spending habit.
She's not healed. She's not recovered.
No.
And and Mary's got her number. And Mary I really like what Mary said, and I think there was an element of comparing their looks, because she said it's not like overt, but what Mary says is, I think a lot of women could probably sympathise, because it's not even the way they look, because they're both beautiful women, but it's the way they style Mary compared to Christina. Yeah,
Mary is made to look a lot more dowdy and apronly, isn't she?
When Patty Claire is, on the tiles or doing an appearance, she's beautiful. She has, when she's
proper radiant.
They dress her down and they dressed Christina up. So, but when Mary's there and she says to Christina, you just get everything you want all the time, and I'm sick of it, and I think that George needs to, I hope one day he finds out what you're really like, or something like that. I think that loads of women who aren't pretty and gorgeous and skinny and all the rest of it will have had a moment where they see another woman just getting away with heinous stuff, really awful but everyone looks past it because of their looks. And I
Like
think
Sarah
Mary,
Lou getting away with murder.
yeah, I think Mary's just like, I'm sick and tired of seeing this happen because everyone around here is beautiful and they all get away with murder.
I just wish that Mary would tone it down a little bit, because there is a good storyline going here. But I just, whenever she opens her mouth and starts...
Well, it's deliberate.
I know it is.
It's not an accident.
Yeah. Those Chocky Crockies got a good air in this week, didn't they? Because they had somebody else buying them in the corner shop today.
Don't waste
Despite
a good
the fact that they're 50p more expensive in the corner shop compared to Freshco's, sorry.
Ooh.
Right, what are we scoring this week?
Tesco do not pay
What
to be on this show.
What are we scoring? No, it's all Sainsbury's, isn't it?
Sainsbury's.
So I thought that Monday's episode with the confession was fantastic. I really was excited by that, with Sarah confessing to Kit.
There was some great stuff.
Wednesday, I did give a bog standard with, but like I said, some of it was just me being a little bit contrary because I'd been spoiled and I was mad about that and I didn't like the dancing scene. But it was clearly a standout episode. Clearly, I thought today's was a bit more off the ball. Though you really enjoyed today's more, didn't you? I felt that it was a bit kind of plodding along and telling us things that we sort of already knew. But Thursday was another good one. I think I'm probably going to say, on the whole, this week gets 4 bowls of marbles. Ooh. No, paper. No, brownie.
No.
Out of 5. What about you?
This has been a really tough week for the podcast for me. I've had a hard week anyway. And I feel like I'm getting stitched up continuously by this programme. By, number one, talking about things I don't want to talk about. And number two, like, my opinions are not fashionable. I'm not PC about some of the things I think. I'm really rigid and black and white about stuff. Which is why I think a lot of people get surprised and upset with me. Because I think because I'm so black and white... But I know that's not fair. So what I do is I think about things from different angles. And when we do the podcast, we talk about all the different angles. And I know it's a failing of myself. So I take time to think about other opinions and perspectives so that I know and I'm not being unfair to people. But sometimes I just have to really be honest about my prejudices and say, no matter what anybody thinks, this is how I feel. And it might not be the right thing to say. But I'm going to say it anyway because I really feel strongly that it will help somebody to stand up for themselves or protect themselves or show, I'm an underdog kind of person as well, which is weird because I thought Theo was the underdog because Sarah killed him, but he obviously was like a horrible criminal, nasty abuser, and he should have been killed, but just not then. I'm very complicated is what I'm trying to say, and I'm flawed, and I understand that what I'm saying is not always right, and I'm sorry if I upset anybody.
It's not that it's not right, it's just that other people...
It's a different perspective.
It's a different perspective, and
but the thing is,
it feels like it's a bit more of the minority perspective.
I think that's a really good point, because I don't think I would have gone into such a passionate tirade about it if I had seen this reflected as... Anyway, I've not seen anyone really take this perspective...
I've seen a few people and then they get shot down.
Yeah, sorry. So I think this is going to be really unpopular.
But I think you've done today is done a good job. I mean, our street talk has been nearly 3 hours just for the street talk segment today, and what people are doing online is posting tweets and maybe not being able to explain themselves fully because you've only got however many characters. And I know you can make a thread, but some people are posting their little things which give a snapshot of their opinion. And I think that you've explained yourself incredibly well today.
Thank you. It's really easy to sit down and write something and be anonymous on the internet and know you might get some crap off people, but you can block them.
And some people enjoy stirring things.
I don't like arguing with people. And I also think it's easy to write down in text and have it exactly how you want it and then post it and put it out onto the internet. But it's really hard when you know that you're probably in the wrong about some of the things and that people's opinions change. And that some people will violently, passionately disagree with me and probably talk about me in very horrible terms about what I've said. So, I can only just say everybody has their own opinions because of how they are in their lives. And I extend, I'd hope that you extend the benefit of the doubt to me like I do to you because I know that what you think is based on your life. I don't have the same life as somebody who's, you know, a 20-year-old who's been watching this stuff online.
Yeah, I think there. I don't want to sound like an old person, but there's from some younger people who are half our age, there's like a complete that they're just not willing to accept that what we think has got any merit or anything behind it. Or
but we were the same when we were kids.
Yeah, exactly. And when they're 43, maybe they'll be saying, "Oh, these 20-year-olds these days."
But this is what, I mean, God knows what people could be doing to each other in another 20 years' time.
Yeah.
It's probably be all shagging aliens. And we'll be saying, that's not right, you're going to get a disease or something.
Yeah, some kind of
we'll
extraterrestrial STI.
Some kind of scale.
Yeah.
Scaly bits. Anyway, I did enjoy this. I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I hadn't had to talk about it on the podcast and be forced to out myself as an unfashionable fuddy-duddy. But you can't deny the scripts were excellent. You really
can't deny
excellent.
the performances were.
Yeah.
You can't deny it. You know,
really
it was a week that
complicated.
got people impassioned, and that's what you want. The last thing you want for Corrie is a week where people go, I don't know, it was all right.
I think that Kate Brooks used the word contentious.
What, to describe this?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously been all the press about it.
Yeah, Kate Brooks said, Coronation Street has always pushed boundaries when it comes to telling challenging, thought-provoking stories, and this story is no exception. Shining a light on the dangers of this all-too-common trend, we wanted to chart Betsy and Dylan's story as they navigate the catastrophic implications of a moment of naivety and the impact not only on them, but also their families and wider community. So maybe she says it somewhere else, and I just didn't quote her all the way.
It'd be really easy to sit here and record a podcast where we just towed the party line of everybody else, but I couldn't in good conscience let somebody think that if they could be helped by me saying it's okay to say no, and it's not normal, it's just common, and that's different, and it's, you know. Anyway, I think
what's your score?
I really enjoyed it. I wish I wasn't going to get so much crap for this, but with all of that to put to one side, I think I'm going to give this week 4.5.
Same as me.
Chocky Crockies. Did you give it 4 or 4.5?
I said 4.5.
I thought you said 4.
No.
When I gave it 4.5.
Get it down now on your spreadsheet,
Who
Rebecca.
are we going to give the character of the week to?
I'm
going to give it to the Doctor.
Nah. You were very much on Lisa's side this week, weren't you? But equally, if we're looking at performances, then Sydney Martin was the standout for me.
Yes, I think you're right. Betsy gets the character of the week. But I want to give a shout out to Lauren, just this agent of chaos. I know I do think it was a bit of a misunderstanding, but it was done for malevolent. She was doing it, you know, she was stopping Betsy from seeing Dylan, and it probably did not help her stress levels, which is not supposed to, you know, you're not supposed to stress people out.
I mean, you joked about the Doctor, but I did actually really like that Doctor character, and sometimes you get doctors on Corrie and they're just nothings, aren't they?
But she did a really good job of not making it sound like they've told me to come in and tell you to go to itv.com.
Yeah, no, she did.
Advice.
But that's why Dr. Gaddis, why couldn't she get in there and say it? I know she didn't work at the hospital, but still. I think I think it's between Lisa and Betsy, and I think the performance is going to swing it, and even though they were both fantastic, I'm going to give props for Sydney Martin for doing an absolutely cracking job this week. So Betsy it is as the character of the week for me this week. But yeah, tough call. That is what we thought of this week's Coronation Street. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have think that?